Welcome to the Week 11 Eve Show, where, Dr. Raj comes on. We talk Week 11 starts and sits. We talk everything relating to your fantasy football lineups, trades, waiver wire, acquisitions, everything. And, of course, Colin Kaepernick to join us shortly. Right, I think in about 20 minutes or so, he should be calling on the bat line. So get ready for an amazing show. Grant, glad you're in the house. Where is everybody? Are you getting the YouTube notifications this time? And let's see if the intro works. Probably doesn't. Intro's not working. Does that mean I have to do the intro again? Let's see if I can do this. You're joining the Fantasy Football Show. Blah, 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 blah. Whatever. I'm going to fix the intro eventually. What's up, guys? Glad you're joining me. Very excited to have you on the show. What's up, Douglas? What's up, Cannon? What's up, Elijah? What's up, Augie? What's up, Damon? What's up, MT? What's up, Riff? What's up, Callie? What's up, Christopher? Glad you're joining me. Dr. Raj will be on in just a little bit. Am I good with starting Dwelly? Nah, I don't know, man. Maybe. What's up, Daryl? Wipe your feet on the way in. Thanks for the intro, Grant. I don't know. I got to fix. My problem is I went live. Without testing the intro this time. I have to admit, that was on me. I do think my Take a Lap is working.
Take a lap! Take a lap! Yeah. Take a lap!
That should be good to go. I think I've got that. That's the important part. The intro isn't as big. I think I can replay the intro here. Let's see if I can do this. Top 5 running back. You're watching the Fantasy Football Show. Boom. Nailed it. Nail to hit. I've also got my pimp cane with me today for when I need to get angry, mad, and let off some steam. Holding this pimp cane, I feel like I think I'm going to start making these. I'll make a The Fantasy Football Show pimp cane for all you guys when you win your leagues. Kind of like a trophy of sorts. So that is on the way. Don't you worry. From the makers of the Fantasy Football Show and Sleeper U, we're going to bring you the pimp canes. So get ready for that. This pimp cane, I might have to make them customized at first. Each one will be very, very unique, and they probably will cost a pretty penny. But I'm sure some of you will want The Fantasy Football Show pimp cane. I'm pretty confident they will be pretty popular because you at home, and they're heavy. These things are. This is a heavy, almost like a fantasy, like movie type of material, like looking thing. Like it almost looks like it came out of like Harry Potter or something, and it's heavy as hell. This thing is an awesome thing to walk around with. I feel like an actual pimp when I do walk with it. And when I make decisions and I go, you've just been Smitty approved, it feels powerful to have a pimp cane in your hand when you're making life and death decisions about people's lineups. It really does. Augie said he'd take one. Pimpin' ain't easy, baby, says Ben. That is probably one of the truest things I've heard all night. We're going to talk a little bit about Colin Kaepernick real quick. This probably won't make a lot of people, I don't know, maybe you guys here on the show are going to have some reason to. But I'll tell you right now, talking about Colin Kaepernick is never a good idea because you piss people off. No matter how many people agree with you, you have 4 or 5 people that just take you completely wrong. So let me be clear about this up front. I am not against Colin Kaepernick in his goals, in what the message he's trying to convey. I'm not. Poindexter says he wants a pimp cane. you're all gonna have a chance to get a pimp cane in some time. I think they're gonna be for 2020, maybe the early off season. I might have a couple. They're going to be. I don't know why I'm here, Smitty. Disrespected my son last live stream. Brissett's dad. I don't think I disrespected Brissett, did I? I've always been kind of a supporter of Brissett's dad, or Brissett of your son. Brissett over Goff? I think Brissett. How's that for respect, Brissett's dad? I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I'm a Brissett believer, and Dr. Raj, who joins us second today, right here. I like this. I can point to shit. Dr. Raj, right here. Dr. Raj will join us. He's a big advocate of Brissett, of your son, Brissett's dad. Brissett's dad is a member, a subscriber of the show. Pimp Kane promo code. Don't worry, this thing will knock a sucker out, man. This thing is look at, watch, ready. This thing is heavy duty. Did I just damage my sign? Idiot. I'm so stupid. Yeah, this thing is like, you could take this out, and if it, it's an amazing trophy. This will be the Fantasy Football Show trophies soon. They'll be very customized, and probably not going to be a ton of them. They will be, maybe they're more of like a giveaway, a special giveaway. So let's talk about Kaepernick. And again, I'm going to preface from the start, as I hold this pimp cane, I feel so very authoritarian, or whatever the hell the word would be best used right here when I have this cane. I feel like I can't be argued with when I have the cane in my hand. This is how I feel about Colin Kaepernick, who's joining us next on the show. So I got to talk very delicately about the guy. I think that Colin Kaepernick, I don't care about his message in terms of, like, when I evaluate the fantasy football aspect of it. Like, that's a whole different topic. And, you know, we could have that topic. I don't think it's a good idea, but we could have that topic. But his message, I'm not against his idea or the goals he has. But what I said on Instagram, and it's so funny, you just get people, no matter how many people agree with you, it's the people that are so upset that you're even talking about it in a negative light at all. They think you're talking about negatively of his message or his goals, and I'm not. But when you go to a job interview, you're on your best behavior, are you not? Why on earth would you attempt to go into a job interview with a bunch of people, in this case 32 teams, and an NFL that are probably sick and tired of the waves that were made in regards to the situation? Now, you could argue, did they create some of that? Did they not? I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to only tell you that the NFL teams do not need drama at their front door. A coach of a team that is struggling at QB enough to bring in Colin Kaepernick, why on earth would a struggling team that has drama of its own invite more drama into the locker room, into the front door media-wise? It will be a media circus, whatever team Colin Kaepernick plays for. If he does sign with a team at all, it will be a media circus. Will it not? Who's disagreeing with me here? Anybody? So when you go into your job interview, in this case Colin Kaepernick, going to throw footballs at a high school after he moves the venue 3 hours, I believe is what the report is, 3 hours before it starts, from a professional venue to, I believe, what is being reported as a high school, already creating a media circus out of this event alone, out of his job interview. That's like calling up your potential prospective place of employment and saying, I am going to move our interview venue not to your boardroom on the 12th floor, but to the building across the street in the cafe next to a big bowl of mac and cheese and a granola bar. That is what Colin Kaepernick did, and the NFL teams are already at that point getting a dose of crazy chaos, media circus, whatever. And I can tell you now, there are one or two of you out there Probably a lot less than there are that are agreeing with me, but are vocal about it and they're mad. I'm not saying Colin Kaepernick doesn't have the right to talk about his message or have certain goals. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you have 32 teams that don't want to deal with drama, and teams, if they are interested, already have QB drama potentially brewing, and why would they want more? Then you move the venue. You have a decent workout, and you can argue, oh, he didn't look that great. There's no pads on him. Well, guess what, guys? When you try out for a team, you do it that way. That's the legit, normal routine of trying out for a team. Nothing out of the ordinary. And when you try out for a team like that, what's up, Seclan? We're just talking about the Colin Kaepernick situation, which I believe you are potentially on the other side of me on this one, which is what I'm explaining. So hopefully you've seen a little bit of what I'm talking about. No one's arguing that the guy shouldn't be able to fight his fight. But when you go onto the field, you have a decent workout. You've already created chaos by moving the event 3 hours before. And then you go and you speak after and you say that people are scared, that, just a negative message in general to the NFL, a dramatic message, a message that is one that feels chaotic and almost in a sense that he's fighting with the NFL already. James, MT, if you're in the house, you know what to do. James, you're in timeout. Congratulations. Again, it's like talking to a child. James, I appreciate you. James, I don't want you to leave. James, I like you for whatever reason. But MT is going to put you in timeout at the moment. It's just too much. Why do you say, Smitty, I need help 8 times in a row? So you're going to go in timeout for just a brief moment. When you come back, we hope to have the real James with us. Well, James, if you need extreme help, you should have said it once, and then you could have got the help. I'm in the middle of Colin Kaepernick ranting, and you're interrupting me, James. I'm not happy. Go to timeout. MT, you know what to do. Damn it, James. Where was I before James completely interrupted the Pimp Kane rant? Regardless, here it is. And again, Kaepernick should be dialing us here in about 10 minutes. Hey, Smitty, McKissick or Hyde? Probably Hyde, man. Dumb move by Kaepernick. You can get mad at me all you want. I am not arguing against his stance or anything about his movement. Nothing. I'm not. But dumb move by Kaepernick at his job interview, to move the job interview, to talk negatively after the job interview. Give me a break. And you're proving that you really want to get back into the NFL. You couldn't wait until you got onto a team before you started creating a circus around this. Give me a break. What team wants to get involved with that? Nobody. No team. No owner. No coach. And the NFL especially does not want to deal with a big media circus type situation. And Colin Kaepernick created that on his first day interviewing for his job. I'll be shocked. And you know what? All it takes is one team. But I'll be shocked if a team signs him after this, and he has only himself to blame. He does. It's his fault. Nothing wrong with his message, nothing wrong with the good fight for what you believe in, but there is a place and a time, and if you want to be only political about it, if you're about the activism part of it, that's fine, but you're not going to get a job when you're trying to bite the hand that's trying to potentially see if they want to feed you. And then you have all these people saying, "Oh, this is disgrace. The NFL is against him." And how much money has the NFL lost? You got to factor that in. Who here works for an employer? It doesn't work for themselves. Are you 100% happy? Is this just audio, Legion? No, Legion. Is everybody else seeing me? Cody Cap will be joining us in 8 minutes. So mad. I'm facing. Thank you, Austin, for the super chat. If you super chat, you jump to the front of the line and you get the Pimp the pimp cane pointed right at you. Oh, and I also have a super chat sound. Austin pimping it with a super chat. I like that. I like that. I think we're going to start using that. Austin, you're a pimp. Austin? How do you guys like it? Would you prefer this when you super chat? Would you prefer this? Austin? Pimpin'. You like that? I think we'll do that. Austin, you have just been pimp called out. Shout out. I think he's asking about the audio appearing. Oh, no, video. Smitty, can you show us the take a lap clip? Sure. This one's for Cap. Hey, Cap, we've got a little message for you at the Fantasy Football Show here. Cap?
Take a lap. Take a lap. Yeah. Take a lap.
Take it, Cap. Take your lap. Anybody disagree with me on the Cap stuff? Does anybody disagree with me on the Colin Kaepernick debate? Who thinks I'm wrong? And I'd love to hear why. Because in no way, shape, or form am I saying he shouldn't be fighting. Oh, I'm sorry, Austin. Austin, let's get to Austin first. So mad. Guy I'm facing this week and my commish forced traded Mahomes for Ingram and Adams. Now I'm facing Mahomes, Jacobs, and Evans tomorrow. FML. Austin, let me think about this. Ingram and Adams. I would rather have Mahomes, but I would say that he got some decent enough value that, you know, Adams could go off. On a consistent basis. Let's see here. But Packers are on a bye. Yeah, that sucks. Oh, now I get what you're saying, Austin. I see what you're throwing down. So you have Adams, who is on a bye, and you had Ingram as the only player you were facing. Now you face Mahomes. I see. I got it. Sorry. Smitty with the pimp cane. It's a little heavy, so I was a little slow in the uptake on this one. I'm getting used to it, doing some sets. So I'm going to – this is kind of a heavy cane, but doing some sets, and I see what you're throwing down now. And that sucks, Austin. Man, that blows. But maybe it backfires on him in terms of the long run. Who knows? Hopefully not, because I love Mahomes, and I hope Mahomes tears it up. No offense. Earmuffs, Austin. Put your earmuffs on. Here, let me cover it so Austin doesn't even see it. I hope Mahomes has 7 TDs in Week 11. Don't tell Austin because he super chats and I need him. Know what I mean? But Austin, I appreciate you very much, young man. I cannot believe Smitty did not rank my son in the top 10 for 2020. Is that the disrespect you're talking about? Look, Brissett's dad, I appreciate you, but I'm not going to sacrifice the quality of my show to make you happy with your son's ranking on the show. Doubt Stafford plays again this season. That's not a crazy thought at all. I need to put this pimp cane. Where can I? There we go. It's a little high. Do I have something I could set this on? Hey, something a little higher. A pimp cane needs to be properly in sight. There we go. Trade Montgomery and Eckler for Robinson who? Allen Robinson? No, I would not do that trade. James is back. Let's see if James can take it. James, I'm gonna ignore you for just a minute or two, and let's see what you do. We're testing you. We're giving you the blueprint to stay on the show, and we're gonna see if you can handle it. Can I have some extreme help, please? All right, James. Post your question, and let's see how patient you can be. Please rate my team, Smitty. Rogers, Zeke, Kamara, Adams. I love these rank my team. It's so hard to rank the team, Chuck, when you don't really know, the competition and everything, nor do I have time to look at the competition. But the most I can do is tell you whether I think you're probably a front runner or not. I appreciate it, and I love doing this. I'm just saying it's funny when people ask me this, because sometimes I don't have a clue as to what you're looking at. Are you in an 18 league, 14 league? Your grandma and your dad and your baby brother could be in this league, and it's just like the four of you. Rogers, Zeke, Kamara, Adams, Lockett, Ertz, Singletary. Is that good enough to win the league? Wipe your feet. Love the show. Chuck, we love you here at the show. And I'm going to tell you that if you're in a 12-team league, you are killing it. If you're in a 10-team league, I still like it a lot. And yes, you could absolutely win. If you're in an 8-team league, everybody has the same team. You might as well have just rolled some dice to see who was going to win. Good job. Austin. Thank you for the super chat. You've just been pimped. I don't know if I don't know if that was the correct phrasing we agreed on. We need to come up with what I'm saying once you super chat. You get the ching, you get the pump, the pimp pump, and then I don't know, what do I say? What are we coming up with? This little pimp holder is not doing very well. I won't spam anymore. I need help, though, please. James, I have a tough time believing you as well, but we're going to go ahead and take you at your word. Seclan, only you do I scroll back up to read a message. Only you. Oh, sorry, I got to answer Austin real quick. Austin, I always forget. I get so sidetracked. Should I try and trade Galladay? He's my number one wide receiver. Depends what you can get, man. I like Galladay a lot, but he might be looking at less targets now that Stafford's hurt. So it depends on what you can get. Can you do a package deal? I do like Galladay a lot. I think he has high-end wide receiver 2 value, even with Stafford hurt, but he had wide receiver 1 value with Stafford. If you could convince some poor sap to give you wide receiver 1 value in exchange for a running back, maybe you're talking like a Carson, give up a little bit more, get Kamara, give up a lot more or a little more and get Zeke. I mean, of course I'd do something like that, but do I trade him straight up for, a Hyde or something? No, but depends on what you can get. So Clan says, I disagree with you, Cap, and I am not some couch potato. I am involved in many activist nonprofit organizations, and I am a UCLA grad, so I know my stuff. The NFL has for sure been screwing over Cap. So Seclan, again, and I'm not trying to go at you. You're one of the best people here, but this is exactly what I said somebody was going to say that I was doing, and I'm not talking about what he's been doing. I'm talking about you go to a job interview. Okay, hold on, guys. We got, I think we got Cap here. Hold on one second, Cap. I'm going to put you on a split screen. I really appreciate you joining.
Wait, Aloe Black, the man.
Okay. Kapernick is joining us right now. All right, Cap. We have you on the split screen here. Really, really glad you could join us today. I got to say, I'm not really liking your approach right now. There he is. I saw a little bit of that hair. Cap? Maybe he's coming in with a dance. I don't know. I'm kind of digging it. Cap, are you there? Hey, Cap, are you there?
He's coming.
Hey, Cap, we might not be able to have the music on YouTube because they usually flag it.
It's okay. We'll take the music
Yeah,
off.
thanks. That sometimes they flag that. We should be joined by Cap here any second. There he is, Cap. Cap. I really appreciate you coming on the show today. I do have to say I have a little bit of a I do have a little bit of disagreement with your approach. Can you describe what happened today?
So let me just talk to you guys. Let's speak about it. How's it going, everybody? I hope everybody saw my YouTube video I posted out there for the masses. I wanted to go out and show the NFL, and Roger Goodell continues to blackball me. And we were at the venue. They told us to move 2 hours before we went out, but we still made it happen, and I still showed my talent. I showed you my rocket cannon arm. I can still throw that ball effortlessly 50 yards. I wanted my receivers out there, and at the end of the day, we made it happen. People can hate on me. They can say what they want to say, but Colin Kaepernick is here, and I'm trying to get back in the NFL. They all saw the video. If they want to call me, my agents are listening. I'm staying by the phone all night, all day, all week, all year. If they want me on a team, they can call me. They know my number. They saw the video. They can reach me anywhere. I have my agents out there, so you can agree or disagree with me.
Let's. This is legit. You're seeing it here first. The first interview post workout.
I came just for you, Smitty. I told you you're going to be my first one. I want the media to know. I want the media to see. I am here for you guys.
What
I want to play.
What team do you think you will sign with if you had to guess using Dr. Raj intelligence?
I'll play with anybody who wants to play with me, who wants to sign me. I have no qualms playing anybody. I'll play for Miami. I'll play for Chicago. I'll play for Cincinnati. I just want to prove that I'm here to win. And if you sign me on your team, I can take you to the Super Bowl. I'm telling you. I'm Lamar Jackson before Lamar Jackson.
I'm now a fan. I definitely.
I'm telling you, I'm Lamar Jackson before Lamar Jackson was Lamar Jackson.
Best 4 landing spots. Not likely. Best 4 landing spots.
4 landing spots for me.
Best.
For me.
Best for everybody involved. Like
Baltimore, because I'd reunite with my guy Greg Roman.
But then you wouldn't. But then you wouldn't be starting.
Oh, trust me, I'd be starting. Trust me.
Okay.
Chicago would be my second favorite place to go because they have a good defense and they just need a good quarterback. Mitchell Trubisky, he's not a good quarterback.
Who's that? Me. Who's Mitchell Trubisky?
Mitch Trubisky. He's not a good quarterback. No. They need me in Chicago.
He's not a good quarterback.
He's not. In my third situation would be the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins, you've watched him play. I'm better than him. And my fourth destination, we'll go back to San Francisco, go to the Niners, and I'll take them to the Super Bowl, and we'll beat the Ravens this time. Last time, they didn't let me run the ball on that, 5 yards out, and they kept making me throw that fade to Crabtree. That was not a good play. We kept on failing with that. If I go back to San Francisco, to the Super Bowl, and we'll win the Super Bowl this year.
I don't mean to talk about you as if you're not here, but would Cap sign with the Ravens, do you think, or do you think he's only signing a place to start? You seem a little bit eager to prove yourself and be the man. Do you think you would take a backup role?
Like I said, I want a chance to prove myself, and if I have to be a backup and prove myself on that team, I will gladly take it and then prove that I can be a starter for that team. Like I'm trying to prove myself now. My goal is to get in the NFL. I've been trying to prove myself for 3 years. I've been taken out of the year I've been held out of the league for 3 years, and I've been trying to get back in the league for 3 years. So if they only take me as a backup, I will fight hard to become that team's starter.
All right.
But I'll tell you this, if I do go to Baltimore, I wouldn't be on the bench.
All right, Cap, I hate to kick you off the show already, but we have Dr. Raj coming on, and he's way more important than you right
I'll call him up. He's a little busy. Let me call him up and tell him to get on the show. But
okay.
I appreciate you having me. If you have any other questions, definitely I'll let you know.
Yeah, get out of here.
Let me call him up.
Yeah.
Hey, Dr. Raj.
Please report.
I think Smitty wants you on the show, so I'll head out and I'll let you get back on. But thanks for letting me take some time on your show. Okay, he's coming.
All right.
He said he's
Later,
coming.
Cap. Good luck to
All
you.
right. Thank you. Remember, I'll be a starter in Baltimore.
Yeah, sure you will. All right, so Dr. Raj is heading over now. Let me. I apologize for anybody that thought Cap was actually really coming on. There are a few of you, I think, that were thinking that. My bad. All right, joining us as he always does, Dr. Raj. The man, the myth, the legend, the doctor. The one that helps you with all of your injury. Cody knew. I really want to ask Dr. Raj, because it sounds like he is a decent supporter of Cam. And again, Seclan, I know you don't want to talk about it anymore, but I will say that I knew that people would come in here and misconstrue what I was saying. In not saying you were necessarily doing that, but in that I'm talking at all about his message or his goals or what he's... The problem is you're going to a job interview and you're already making some waves. We'll see what Dr. Raj thinks about it. I respect his opinion on the matter, especially given how close he is to the 49ers. And he's seen Cap probably more than anybody. Dr. Raj.
Hey, I missed Cap. I was busy doing some errands.
Sure you were.
Yeah, how's it going?
What's up, man? So I have a serious question for you because I respect your opinion. And it's funny, I posted this on Instagram. I posted a thing saying, Cap, this didn't help you. The interview you did at the end of that did not help your make your case to be for these NFL teams to look at you or take you, I don't want to say seriously, but that you're not going to cause a lot of drama, waves, and a media circus, bringing media circus to their front door. And I prefaced to people, I'm not talking about whether I disagree with his message or his goals or what he wants to get out of a lot of the stuff he fights for. It has nothing to do with that. What I'm saying is I believe it's spitting facts that him doing what he did at the end, creating some controversy, being a little bit combative and argumentative and yes, passionate, but teams, the reason teams have, let's be honest, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The reason teams have strayed away from him is the drama. A lot of the reason. And in whether that's right or wrong, it's facts. So when I say that Kaepernick didn't do himself any favors by talking the way he did at the end of that interview, like basically calling NFL team, don't be scared. What do you think? Do you think that hurt him?
So his quote, let me look at that quote. He said basically, to all the owners out there, stop being he said to everybody listening, tell your owners not to be afraid of me. So, and I've been a Cap fan as a 49er fan. I mean, he knows me, of course, as you saw, he came to see you guys out.
Yeah.
But I mean, what he did was great, to try to showcase his talents. I think he should have left it at that and say, okay, this is my skills. This is what you can see. This is what I've wanted to do. Showcase my talents. Have your scouts look at the film. I think after the fact, saying all that stuff, I think he kind of got emotional and kind of ahead of himself. And I definitely do agree with you. And he probably said a little too much at the end. Teams are going to misconstrue that. Whether he meant to do it or not, whether he meant to ruffle feathers or not, people are going to take that however they take it. Some people take it with a grain of salt. Some people are going to say, oh, no, you see, you can't say that stuff, And like Stephen A., I don't know if you saw what Stephen A. tweeted. I mean, he went off. He thought it was a PR stunt. You're going to get this media, and that's not good. If you want to restart and get another chance in the NFL, you don't want to have any, media smoke following you. You want to, wipe that off, say, at the end of the day, that's over with. I just want to play in the NFL, and he didn't do that. And I think that is going to hurt his chances of playing in the NFL.
Yep.
I was talking to this about with a lot of my friends, a lot of people that are connected to the team, and one of them they said he thinks it's like a PR stunt, trying to get his views out and stuff. And I don't know if I wholeheartedly agree with that 100%, but it could be. At the end of the day, he does have strong views, and I don't know. Some people agree with him, some people don't. I support Cap, and I think he's a great player. As far as before he started to digress, when Harbaugh left. He had the shoulder injuries. They got Chip Kelly and Jim Tomsula, and that didn't help him really. And then the media came, and there was a lot of turmoil. And I think tonight that media circus, like you said, hurt his overall ability as far as getting back into the league.
It has nothing. my argument has nothing to do with whether I think he shouldn't be speaking his mind or free speech, whatever, or
Yeah,
his
everybody
goal.
has the right to say
Like
what they can say.
the funny part about this argument is who's going to be against, like, when both sides really get down to it. I guess some people could say that one side's completely slanted and the other side's completely slanted, but the people in the middle that can see both sides of it, like everybody, I think, is okay with the message and okay with what the message could mean if it was done differently. It's I don't even know if I want to get into the details of the actual, like, what's been going on for years with it and how the NFL's treated it, or how people have treated people that support Cap, or how Cap supporters treat other people. Like, it's almost like politics, like Trump.
It is.
Yeah, it's almost exactly like Trump. If you support Trump, you're an evil person.
Yeah.
And so if you don't support Cap, sometimes you're looked at as you're on the
You
wrong
get portrayed
side.
a certain way. Either way, the side, like the supporters are gonna say one thing about the non-supporters. The non-supporters are gonna say something about the supporters. It's just a big divide, and it's political. And at the end of the day, I don't like to get into politics because it makes everything nasty. People say bad stuff. They say this and that, and it gets ugly. At the end of the day, the topic that you said, the question that you said is, did that affect his chances in getting back into the league? And 100% I agree with that, as yes, that's going to affect him.
I watched the interview. You posted a clip, and I actually reshared kind of what you had done.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, and then I saw some other clips I posted, and I was actually kind of impressed with his ability, given how long he's been out, and given that he could be a backup in this league for sure, I think. And,
if you ask him, he'll tell you he'll start.
Yeah. And I would have been on board with wanting to see where this went. Like if he landed in Pittsburgh or if he landed with the Bears. I think that's a good opportunity for him to get a starting chance this year, to get into some games this year. And it would have been fun to watch him. And I would have been – I've never been a huge fan of his talent, but that has nothing to do with his message or anything. But he has ability, and in the right offense, he could kind of manage the game and use his running ability, even if he's a little rusty throwing the ball. And me saying that he would manage the game isn't saying that he couldn't in time develop. He's been out for a long time. You can't expect him to be some accurate gunslinger by missing, as much time as he has. But if he got into a Chicago Bear ground and pound, they changed the way they approach their offense and they run the ball heavy and let him manage the game, keep defenses honest with his feet, and some good. He's got a good arm. With a decent deep ball, spreading the field a little bit, he could have done okay. It just all took a turn when he did that at the end. I just think teams are not going to be happy with that. No one's going to look at that and go, oh, that's not going to be dramatic. That's not going to create. And teams that need a quarterback, Dr. Raj, they are already going through probably some in-house drama, right? I mean, what team that is set on quarterback is going to go after Colin Kaepernick? And if you're not set on quarterback, you're probably losing, right? And you already have a lot of spotlight on you, and you're going to go and just invite this circus of a media to your front door. It was just not a smart move for a guy. I'm not saying Stephen A. Smith was right that he did it for show, but it certainly makes you wonder a little bit that he's trying to just kind of play out a message, or I'm not saying for sure, but it makes you wonder a little bit, like, what was his real goal? And did he move the venue? I heard you say something about it got moved on him. I think he moved the venue 3 hours before, right?
So I'll speak on what you said. So yeah, you're right. I think definitely, again, like especially Niner fans, I gotta talk about this. They're all like, "Oh, bring him in. He's better than Jimmy G. Bring him in. He's better than Jimmy Garoppolo." It's crazy talk. Like I said, I was a supporter of Kaepernick. Of course, I'm a fan. I'm not gonna say I never supported him. He brought us to some years where he was our quarterback. I supported him. He had some good years. He had some bad years. And like I said, after not playing football for 3 years, he's going to be very rusty. And to come in and pick up a playbook, it doesn't just happen overnight. Like, yeah, he has some talent still. Of course, he can throw the ball. He's a quarterback. He's played his whole career. But he's got the deep pass. Accuracy was one of his issues he had. Reading the defenses. Those things are going to be things he's going to have to learn again. And again, he was throwing the ball against no defense out there. Of course, he's going to rip it out and his pass is going to look pretty, like, oh, man, he could throw that ball fast and far, but he wasn't playing against any defenders. So now you bring a live defense against him. How is that going to change? He's been training, of course he has, like you said, but how has his training been against other defenses? He hasn't played against an NFL defense in over 3 years. So those factors you have to take in consideration. And I definitely think that, if someone were to bring him in, he would be a backup. And you don't know what his MO is. And like you said, there's so many different tangents that go into this. And at the end of the day, that speech at the end, it really did deter it. And, if you're a team like Miami or Cincinnati, like you said, you're going to have a lot of drama anyways. You're losing. If you
Yeah.
bring him in, it's just going to be an unwanted
Yeah. Yeah.
circus
What?
to a team that's losing, and they already have frustrations anyways. And it's just going to make all these headlines. You're losing. Yeah, now you have him with this drama. That's just unneeded.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago, you got Nagy probably on the hot seat.
Yeah.
Is this going to be the move that makes him feel comfortable about seeing less drama? Like, no. Like, I just don't get why Cap would have done that. Maybe,
It's
like you
crazy.
said, it was a miscalculation on his part.
I think so. And then as far as so the venue, getting to that. So
Yeah.
yeah, apparently what happened. I mean, I was working this morning, but I had all my Twitter notifications, and so all week, I guess Tuesday, they had said that there was going to be an Atlanta, NFL stadium, Superdome, or whatnot, or wherever they play. There it was going to be in Atlanta. So NFL caliber stadium, state of the art facility, NFL equipment, all that good stuff, right? And they were going to have people available, media, NFL teams are going to be there. But apparently this morning, I can't remember exactly what time, but they said the venue is going to be switched. They're saying it was going to go from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. There's different reports. I don't know which one to agree, but I don't know which one's true or whatnot. But some reporters said that Kaepernick asked to switch the venue. It was like a couple, 3 hours before. Some people said the NFL made him switch the venue. I don't know the exact specifics because, again, I was at work, so my exact specifics on that, don't quote me on it. They did move it, and then, having moved it last second, not all the people that were supposed to be there probably weren't there, all the media supporters. And Kaepernick had his own personal people filming it because it was filmed on YouTube Live, if you saw the highlights. It was on YouTube Live. And that's kind of how they wanted to set it up. And then at the end, he went and did his, his little post-game, I guess you can call it, post-game presser, so to speak. And that's kind of what happened. Like, it was supposed to be all week. They were talking it up. They were hyping it up. It's going to be in Atlanta, big stadium. And then it got moved to a smaller venue in a high school. He wanted his own receiver. So even that, the whole situation is kind of crazy. So it's like just this one little incident, it was this big circus today. And you think about that as an NFL executive. You see that today. It's like, oh man, do I really want to bring that onto my team?
Right. I got two questions here. They're both super chats, so I gotta do the new
We'll go
super chat. I go.
course.
Let's see. There we go. And then okay, both are from Mark. Mark has one for you.
Okay.
He says, Dr. Raj, do you think Kittle will be back for next week?
Great question. So, from my sources, the little birds that I've been talking to, so the hope is that he was supposed to come back against Green Bay. They've been really cautious with him, and they know that there were some issues with the knee. They don't want to give all the specifics out, but they really want to rest him, be cautious. The hope is that he's back for Green Bay, but it really depends on practice next week. He just started very light rehab Friday, yesterday, on the side of the field. So he started some very light rehab. So that's a good sign moving forward. Now, there's not a guarantee that he's going to be the back for Green Bay, but their hope was that he would be back for Green Bay because they needed him for those bigger games down the stretch. So I'm hoping he is. The team's hoping he is. Right now, they're being very cautious. If he doesn't come back for Green Bay, this injury is a lot more serious than anyone expected.
I'm a little worried about him, and it sucks, but I'm trading for him in Dynasty. I still think – do you think he's the number one Dynasty tight end in fantasy?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, if you look at his stats, regardless of touchdowns, he could have had more. But his yards are almost up towards the top, and he's missed the games. He's been banged up. He's still the best tight end in NFL.
I think especially in a league where we have now, we had Hooper leading all tight ends and Kelsey not, I think Kittle is going to be gold. Trade for him.
He's got to get him healthy. He's a great buy low, but right now, his status for next week, I mean, honestly, it's still doubtful because he's truly a day-to-day status player.
Yeah,
He's not going to play tomorrow, but we got to see how he feels on Tuesday leading up to the first practice on Wednesday. So if he practices Wednesday, even if it's limited practice, I think he'll play next week.
PL with the super, thank you. PL, you're on deck. Mark had one more question for Flex One. Dede Westbrook, Debo. I believe you're saying Debo Samuels, and you're not saying Debo, and then also like Curtis Samuel or something. So if I'm wrong on that, let me know, Mark. So do you go Debo, Westbrook, or Montgomery? Montgomery's banged up. We don't really know if he's.
Yeah, Montgomery, he's not a safe pick. Debo's a sleeper he's my super sleeper this week because even if Sanders plays, they're going to have to get Debo involved a lot because last week he stepped up. Sanders is going to be very limited even if he plays. Debo's going to be a nice sleeper. But I do like Westbrook now with Nick Foles because he's starting to throw to him more than he throws to Shark. So that's kind of up in the air. I think Debo's the safer pick there in my eyes.
Yeah. Okay. So, Mark, Brissett's dad says the cash sound is a little selfish. How about well? You guys are the ones that picked that. I had everybody saying a sound of like a cash register or something like that. So I'll do whatever you guys want. Everything I do gets changed. But
I like the cash sound.
I don't know. I mean the show's doing well when we hear the sound. So that you should be happy about the show doing well.
That's good. We need it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think so. Monty's a risk, but if like news comes out Sunday morning that says Monty's a go, he's going to get a full workload. Like I don't know that we're going to get that kind of detail from Nagy or from the way the NFL is reporting news these days or teams are. I don't know that you're going to get that. But if you do, then I go with Monty. But if Westbrook has been kind of banged up, he's played and got hurt in the middle of a game and suffered a setback in the past. So recently, what was that, 2 weeks ago, something like that, he played and then just got hurt right away again.
Left in the middle of the game, I remember that.
I think Foles and him will. I think with Foles back, we might. I mean, we had Foles throw for 75 yards at TD and broke his collarbone immediately. So we all expected Westbrook to be a breakout in 2019, or at least a big part of the fantasy industry.
I thought he was going to be a big sleeper.
Yeah, and he didn't. That didn't come to fruition, but because maybe Foles was out. So Foles returning, it could be a hell of a coincidence, everyone's going to say all of a sudden, that Westbrook returns to form that everybody expected. But until he's proven that he's back, Debo does feel like the safest option, Mark. Really but if you like a dice roll, Mark, if you frequent Vegas 4 or 5 times a year, go Westbrook. If you don't go to Vegas very often, you're a safe man, go Debo.
I'm telling you, Debo's going to have a big game. He's my super sleeper this week. But you're right. And like I was talking about, with Westbrook, his value is tied to Foles. And I think Foles might start finding him. But the injury history kind of, you don't know.
Yeah.
And you don't know if Shark's going to take into his value. But
it's risky all the way around.
It's a risky pick. But you're right. If you like to gamble, I'm from Vegas.
Yeah.
So you might want to go Westbrook. But
nice. I didn't know you're from Vegas.
Yeah, I was raised there.
That's cool.
Yeah, I got stories to tell you.
Yeah, if you got any, spit them out. Smitty, PL, thank you for the super PL. You the man. I got the pimp cane today, Dr. Raj.
I saw the cane. Cap told me about it, and I saw it. And I was impressed.
This is the pimp cane. It's heavy. It can knock some fool out. If anybody tried to break into the show, or if I do one of my live, I do. Everybody wants me to do it again. I went on a scooter, one of those electric scooters. Do you guys have those where you live?
Yeah, we got those.
Yeah, so I did a live stream on an electric scooter for like 45 minutes to an hour straight. I tried to brake without ever really applying for it. I imagine the longest live stream scooter ride, or at least fantasy football, and we never applied, or we should. But
you gotta get on Guinness. You'd be world famous.
Yeah, so I'm like, as I'm going like full speed, almost hit 2 or 3 people. It was great. So people always ask about that. Maybe I bring the pimp cane with me to protect myself as I'm live streaming out there. Let's see. PL says, Smitty, been a while since I've watched a live stream. Glad to see the content is as tight as always. Keep up the great work. Thank you. PL didn't even have a question. He just wanted to say, pimp cane mishap. He just wanted to say, good job. And PL, you're the man. Glad to have you back. Thank you so much for the chat. Dwelly Baby says, Jake to Dr. Raj.
Dwelly, baby, he has to step up because without Kittle, they're going to need some valuable targets. And last week, if you watched that Niner game, they had 108 yards and drop passes. So someone's got to step up. I hope Dwelly does, because Kittle not being there is a huge factor for that team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, who's got some questions? Make them short. I'm not going to put a paragraph on screen. Are we over McLaurin? What do you think? I am not over McLaurin. Like I said from the very beginning of the year, rookies, especially wide receivers like that, are going to go up and down. And Chark, you're going to see Chark bounce back. Hollywood Brown, we both said get ready for the Hollywood Brown bounce back. We both liked Hollywood Brown last week,
Yeah.
and sure enough, Hollywood Brown did well. And I think Hollywood Brown's going to return to like wide receiver 2 value in fantasy. I love Hollywood Brown, but McLaurin is in the same boat. He might, I think, return to being quite good, and he just kind of hit that like rookie, not wall, but dip for wide receivers. So I don't know that I cut him. I don't know that I'd start him until you see the bounce back, but I wouldn't cut him samurai.
Definitely agree with that, McLaurin. Like you said, every receiver, I think it's a rookie wall. I think that's what it is. They go through those peaks and valleys. Every single one. Debo Samuel, he's had some ups, he's had some downs. They all got to learn. They got to learn the offense. They got to learn how to adjust to the NFL life. They're playing against these big guys that are a lot, stronger and more physical in the NFL, and defenses are a lot different. The schemes are a lot more exotic in the NFL. So, I think I would keep McLaurin. I don't know if I'd start him because he's got his value is going to be tied to Haskins, and Haskins is still himself a rookie, kind of still developing on his own. So it's hard to say I want to cut him because I do like him. He has great potential. There can be weeks where he just all of a sudden, boom, goes off, like we called it with Hollywood last week. And, DK Metcalf's had some really good games.
Yep.
And then there's some games where okay, he didn't show up. So
Alex and Ben kind of have a similar question here. Ben's asking, how bad is Connor's injury, Dr. Raj? And Alex is asking, is Jalen Samuels a must-add after all the Steelers' injuries? Absolutely. He's not only a must-add, he should be owned.
Better be. If he's available, I don't know how. You must be.
Yeah, he's been on my top 10 bold predictions, and he hasn't come to fruition to the degree that I predicted on my bold predictions. But what I said was that Connor, Jalen Samuels, so on my top 10 bold predictions, I've talked a lot about those on the show here. A lot of them have been like stunted and haven't developed yet. Darrell Henderson's been one of them, and I don't know that it's ever going to work out this year. I think I'm early on him. But Samuels and Snell together, I said, would win or have a secret weapon potential to win a league if they get in there. And Connor's been hurt all year. He just hasn't been like knocked completely out. So it's been like slow moving. But if Snell didn't get hurt, I think he would also be getting some run right now. But Samuels is the only guy, so for sure pick him up. But what about the injury, and what do you think about that?
So we talked about this the other day on Thursday on your live on IG, and we talked about this last week. I said I do not like the injury. That's an injury that can get a reoccurring issue. And sure enough, his injury reoccurred. He came back in the game. He hurt the shoulder, AC joint. That's definitely an injury that's going to keep nagging. That can become a chronic condition. If I'm a Connor owner, I better hope I have Samuels tied to him, handcuffed to him, because that's a bad injury. And that's a team that they like to run the ball. They're a grind-it team. They're very, old school, run the ball, defense type team. And moving forward, their style of play and his injury is not a good mix. That injury is something that you're going to have to keep an eye on, and it's going to keep coming up. I don't like him moving forward.
Yeah, okay, good one. And I got 2 super chats here, so we're going to jump to those and then get to a Coleman question. Cody says, oh, sorry, Cody. There, it's all delayed. Whenever I have Skype open, it just pick your starts for running backs: Monty, Damian Williams, Sonny Michel, or Brian Hill. You get 2 and maybe a third for a flex PPR. So it's Monty, Damian Williams, who I put in there for sure.
Yeah, I didn't like
Michelle and Brian Hill. So Brian Hill and Damian are probably your safest, but Brian Hill, we don't really know what we're dealing with yet, but I think that the Falcons are kind of confident in him and they do want to use him. It's a little bit worrisome when a running back, like we saw by Ty Johnson for the Detroit Lions, where we thought, oh, Ty Johnson's going to get the go. He's the guy. Kerryon Johnson went down, and then Ty Johnson wasn't even used. So there's that risk. And they could use Ito. I don't know if Ito's even healthy right now, but Ito, Olsen they have as well. So, but I think Brian Hill and Damian are the safest. And then if Monty's a go, I do play him as the flex, but I don't know who your wide receiver options are. Take it away, Dr. Raj.
So I agree. If Monty's healthy, you got to start him at your flex. But that's the thing. His health is going to be 50-50. Maybe game early in the morning. If you check and see a status, that might help you out. And depending on your receivers, because again, PPR league, you might want to throw a receiver out there in your flex. As far as those other guys, you're right. He could be something big or he could be something nothing. Because once you get a team that has to start scraping the bottom of the barrel on their depth chart, you really don't know what you're going to get. But I do think he would be a safer pick based on those options because he's going to get the go. They're going to try to give him the ball. And then the other guy, like you said, what was the second guy? Damian Williams.
Yeah.
To me, out of all of them, Damian Williams is the guy you got to make sure you're starting in that
Yeah.
game. His offense is going to give him the opportunities.
Yep, I agree there. Thank you, Cody, for the super chat, young man. Give you a little pimp tap right there with the cane. Austin again. Miles Sanders or Mike Williams at the flex. God, who you going with?
I like Miles Sanders.
Yeah, I feel like the upside's at least there, and
he has more.
I could see that 50-yard run or something. Like maybe he doesn't get as many carries as you like, but he could still break off a 50-yarder.
He's gonna break off something big and get you like a big chunk yardage play, and you'll get something.
And it's a standard, not a PPR, so even more so to lean running back.
Yeah.
So yeah, Austin, anything can happen, but appreciate you. Little tap there.
I like the pimp game.
Yeah, like I'm gonna start customizing, and the production of them are gonna be very slow, but I might customize these and make fantasy football show.
You should send it to me. I'll have my daughter bedazzle it. We'll get it hooked up for you, man.
Nice.
Get some jewels encrusted in jewels.
I like it. Where are we at now with questions? Brissett's dad says, Dr. Raj, Brissett top 10 next year.
Without a doubt.
He's really mad at me.
Boy.
He's mad at me because I left him out of my top 10.
You know what? I tell you what, and I've been a Brissett supporter. What did I say last week here? I said, do not trust Brian Hoyer. From experience, he was on the Niners, and he stunk it up. I want Brissett back bad on that team. Next season,
I left him out of my top 10. Like, I'm still respecting him. I talk about him a lot. You talk about him a little more, but I do say, I like Brissett. Whenever we're faced with like a Brissett and a Ryan or something like that, we've been going like, Brissett feels like he's good to go. And with Brissett back, that means Pascal may be relevant again. I know everybody's been disappointed. He had a really kind of not amazingly big game, but a really big game. I promoted him as the best pickup and play if you were struggling and desperate for wide receiver. He had a TD, 60 yards, whatever he had. And then the next game he bombed, but he didn't have Brissett. So
he had Brian Hoyer, man. Hoyer, the destroyer.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he's the destroyer of all teams.
Let's go. Okay, so thank you, Brissett, for the question. Rock Out with the super chat. Rock Out, do you want a cha-ching? What do you want for your super chat? You tell me. Damian Williams, Coleman, Singletary, Cooper Kupp, Sanu need a running back 2. So he needs one running back and 2 flexes out of this. So he needs one running back and 2 flexes out of Damian, Coleman, Singletary, Kupp, and Sanu. So Kupp is locked and loaded.
Kupp's a lock. You play Kupp.
He's one of your flexes. So now you need a running back and a running back or wide receiver. Damian locked.
I go Sanu out of all those guys. I think he's the safest pick out of those guys.
Okay, so now you need a running back.
Now I need a running
2 wide
back
receivers there.
Between Damian and Coleman, I go Coleman.
Okay. What are your predictions for Coleman? Because someone else had a question. PL said Coleman will eat tomorrow. Gut feeling, says PL.
My gut feeling, too, because Matt Breida's out this week. He's doubtful, but he's not playing tomorrow. He has an ankle injury. Raheem Mostert, the other running back, he's got a knee issue, so he's questionable. Even if he plays, he may be limited. And then their 4th-string running back's Jeff Wilson. So I expect Tevin Coleman to get a lot of carries. And after last week's performance on Monday night, I think they're going to run the ball a lot. So I think Tevin Coleman can have a good 15 carries, give you 80 yards rushing, maybe a touchdown, a couple passes in there. I think Coleman's a good play this week. And I think you start him with confidence because they're going to want to run the ball this week.
So I'm going to say Kupp is locked and loaded. For me, I'm going to go. You could technically go 3 running backs here because he needs 1 running back and 2 flexes. So you could go all 3 running backs if you wanted.
Yeah.
It's full PPR. Cup is a lock. So I'm going to go Damian and Coleman as your safe plays. And if you wanted to roll the dice, Singletary in place of either one of those. But I think Coleman's safe, and he's PPR relevant. Damian's PPR relevant and safe. Singletary needs to prove himself, and then Cup's a lock. So that would be my pick. But, dude, you could miss that, 50% of the time. It's
no, I think you made the safe picks. Like you said, Damian, he's a good pick.
Yeah.
I just have a gut feeling that Coleman, and I don't know. I think Sanu's gonna. If it's a PPR league,
I like Sanu.
I like Sanu.
Yeah, you can't go wrong there.
Can't go wrong with that.
Ben, sit one. Coleman, Mac, Singletary. I think Singletary is the most risky, but man, he's got a lot of upside. But I think given last week, it's safe to say that you wouldn't be crazy. You lose sleep at night if you bench Mac and he went crazy.
I know, you really do.
Yeah.
Especially with Jacoby coming back. So,
but do you think that Breda's out, right?
Yeah, he's not officially out, but I would, like I said last week, I would be very surprised.
Yeah.
Like I said with Kittle last week, I said I'd be very surprised if Breida plays tonight.
Okay, so does Mostert take a lot away from Coleman, or is Coleman going to get more carries than he would if Breida was there, or are they going to divide it?
So it depends on how healthy Mostert is, because he's actually questionable himself with the knee. So if his knee is kind of bothering him, then yeah, Coleman's going to get a little bit more carries. But they also have this guy, Jeff Wilson, who's more of a power back. And I think he would eat some of those carries away. That would be split to Breida or something.
Yeah, that's what worries me. So, you know what I'm going to say? I could live to regret this, but who is it that asked the question earlier? The other one?
Oh, Coleman.
Rock out. So Rock out asked us that question. I'm going to change my Coleman to Singletary. I could live to regret that, and you're going to ruin my entire Sunday, Rock out, because I'm going to be thinking about you. But that means I care. But you're going to ruin my entire Sunday if I get that wrong.
It's not a bad move, because Singletary has a lot to prove, but it's just the way that the Niners run their offense.
And they played Miami.
I know. That's true. I mean, that's the thing. They have the matchup. They have the sexy matchup of the week where you're like, oh, my God.
I go Singletary.
This is the week Frank Gore does it.
And Mac, I like Mac a lot with Brissett back. I think Brissett getting hurt really hurt the Pascal and Mac momentum. But without Hilton, I think they lean on Mac a ton. They run more and they pass to him more, and they pass to Pascal a lot. And I think Brissett's good enough. He's one of those QBs. Brissett's dad, you'll appreciate this right now. He's one of those QBs that I think more than a lot of other really thought of to be better QBs, he's one that can survive and do more with a little versus some of these other QBs that need their big gun. Mm-hmm. I think Brissett could spread it around, use his feet, use his running backs. I think he could really be efficient no matter who he's got in there. So I think he makes Mac and Pascal. So
he elevates them, because last week Hoyer really held that team back, and I think with him back, Pascal's going to be a good play. He's going to be like the play we talked about 2 weeks ago, where he was, save your fantasy week, stream him off the waivers. He's going to have a good week. He's going to have a bounce back week.
This is a little bit of an inside joke. Was Dr. Raj on? I don't think he was on this show. But Brissett's dad wants to know, Dr. Raj, do you know anyone that has experience on evaluating any injuries?
Of course I do.
He's asking because someone came on the show and asked me, hey, Smitty, do you know of a good site that I could go to find any dynasty rankings? And we were just, everyone kind of, I kind of let him have it, and I think he left. He didn't come back. I felt really bad after. I was kind of joking with him, and I was playing with him, but I said, what do you think I do? Like, you're going to go into a restaurant and say to a burger joint and go, do you know a place I could get a good burger? And so Brissett's dad's playing on that. But
that's fun. I think I saw you post something about that on your Instagram story.
I might have.
How you were, it was like an inside joke, and I think I get it now. But yeah, it's funny. You go to like a restaurant and you ask for a good food place. But people do that with me on my page. They'll send me posts about news about the Niners where I've already posted, like, I know that. That's what I do.
PL says, so play Debo even if Sanders plays? Rather go with Boyd is PL's question. I don't like Boyd. Sanders is playing now, isn't he?
So let's talk about, that's a good question. That's a good injury question to talk about. So Sanders has a rib injury. They didn't specifically say what his rib injury. George Kittle played through a rib injury. That was cracked ribs. I think, from my understanding, he's got a rib contusion. Rib injuries are painful. So even if he plays, because this is what the report was Emmanuel Sanders himself stated, he went on KMBR, and he said he's going to try to tough it out. That's what he said. He's going to try to tough it out tomorrow and play on Sunday. Even if he plays, he's got to be limited in some capacity. That's tough, man. When you got rib injuries, it's painful. When you run, when you move, when you bend, you're going to feel the pressure. And even if you wrap it up, even if you try to brace it, it's going to be painful. And I had broken ribs, and you really can't take the pain away other than just resting, And if you put a padding on it, and the shoulder pads and all the other flak pads, everything that you add on your NFL uniform, that's putting more pressure on the ribs. And he's taking hits. It's going to be painful regardless if he pads it extra or not. So I think he's going to be limited in some capacity, even if he plays. So I still think Debo's a good play regardless.
Okay. And that question was from PL. Thank you, PL. Thank you. And I don't know if you wanted the...
Hit him with the cha-ching.
Yes. Doctor, it's something to do with the... Yeah. Okay, so double A as a super chat, and so does Mark. Thank you guys for... Mark? Come on.
There it is.
Gosh dang it.
I love the sound of that money.
Yeah. Tariq Cohen, is he greater, or how much more do you like him over Devontae Parker if Monty sits 0.5 PPR? If Monty sits, I like him a significant amount more than Parker, but I don't know. There's the register coming in a little delayed. I think there's an argument to be made for Parker. I'm not going to say definitely Cohen, because that's the kind of call that backfires on me the next day. There's the cash register again. You might hear a couple more because I punched it a couple times. What do you think, Cohen, if Monty sits, or Parker?
That's a tough one because they both really don't scream off the page to me. But I think Cohen, overall is the safer move in that situation. But either one doesn't really scream out to me. But I would have to lean towards Cohen.
Kind of don't like either option, double A.
Yeah.
Do you have any others?
Mark, if those are your options, I'm going Cohen.
Here's a Kittle question from Mark. Mark, thank you for the super chat. If Kittle is out next week, I need to drop one. Hunter Henry or Lat Murray. I have Kamara, Monty, Brian Hill, Samuels. I'm in a tough spot with buys and the trade deadline pass. So you need to drop one, Hunter Henry or Lat Murray. Oh. If Kittle's out, why are you dropping Hunter Henry, though?
Yeah, I wouldn't drop Hunter Henry if Kittle's out.
Can you explain that, Mark? I don't know why you would do that. I guess Lat Murray, because if you dropped Hunter Henry, he'd be scooped up like that. If you drop Lat Murray, he might not get scooped up right away. That kind of dictates like what to do. Yeah. I always tell people with trades, people say, or keeper questions. If they say, I'm in a keeper league, Smitty, should I keep so-and-so or so-and-so? The easiest way to determine whether you should keep a player is ask yourself who would get drafted first if you threw both players back into the draft pool. And that tells you who has more value in your mind, So in this case, Lat Murray would probably get picked up, I'd guess, but maybe not. And Hunter Henry's arguably a top 3 or 4 tight end right now. Of course he'd get grabbed right away. That'd be my advice.
I agree with that, especially if you have Kittle and you don't know if he's going to play next week, and then you drop Hunter Henry, you're shooting yourself in the foot because then you're out a tight end. That's a whole roster spot you're not going to get points for, and it sounds like you have good enough players to absorb Lat Murray.
Yeah, I guess I should have looked at that. Chargers have a bye next week. That's why. I got it. So if Kittle's out next week and Hunter Henry's on a bye, he's saying that makes sense.
Okay, that makes more sense.
I got you.
But then you can drop him and get another tight end.
But I still drop Lat Murray if it's me. But
I would too because this is what's going to happen. You drop Hunter Henry and people are going to swarm that wire for the following week. Yeah. And then they just came up on a steal.
Yeah, it'll suck if Kamara goes down because Lat Murray's a top 5 to 10 running back. But at this point, Kamara's back. I'm just not feeling like Hunter Henry's a good drop.
With him, and it would be the safer drop because nobody's really going to pick him up right now.
Right.
And you can live a weekend without him on your team, and then the next week you can just add him back to your team.
Is Jacob Hollister legit? Tight end.
I just think Russell Wilson's good. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it. He made the other guy that was on the who's Waller, or no, who's the guy that went on the injured reserve, the tight end that they had.
Disley.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He made him a star.
Well,
this guy comes up, and now he's tearing it up.
But can't separate situation from player. Is Hollister legit from a fantasy perspective then moving forward?
I think so because he's got Russell Wilson, and as long as his quarterback's Wilson, he's going to make him look good. Yeah.
Okay. Fred was never found again. Mickey says, I don't know what happened to Fred. I feel really bad. I blasted him. Most people know I'm kind of like playing around, like but this guy just totally took off. Like when I blasted him. I'm sorry, Fred. Fred, if you're out there, come back, Fred.
Come back, Fred.
One time I yelled at a guy and it became a big old thing. Like I forget what he said. I think he came on and said, I think this is what he said. I think he came on and said something about Sleeper U, saying that I stole, like he goes, what a copy, you copying Sleeper, the Sleeper app that they do fantasy drafting and everything, and saying that, me coming out with this, obviously I'm copying, like I've been out longer than Sleeper.
Yeah.
And so for him to come out and say that, it was hilarious. So I think I ripped him. I'm like, do you even know I'm not brand new? And so I blasted him, and then he left. And so then I said, come back. And then I played the Castaway song, when Wilson falls into the ocean.
Yeah.
And he's like, and so I played that, and I just sat there for a minute. And then he ended up coming back, we thought, but it was people changing their usernames here. And everybody did it. Yeah. Everybody did it. I couldn't tell who was who. So, Mike, what's up? Smitty and Dr. Raj need your guys' help. Robert Woods or Deebo Samuel for my flex PPR spot. Love the show. Thank you, Mike. And I'm going to say I would go Woods with Cooks out and Cooks looking like he's not. Well, I guess it doesn't matter if we're just talking this week. Cooks is out, and I think that Woods is talent-wise, a low-end wide receiver one in fantasy, just talent-wise. But he shares, the spotlight with Cooper Kupp, obviously, so it's hard for him to be consistent. But I think he proved last year he was amazing. I think he's got the upside. But you like Deebo more than Woods, or?
Of course I like Deebo more than Woods. But you're right. In his situation, it's not a bad play because he's going to move up in the pecking order, so he should get more targets. In that offense. That offense has really been not what they were expected to be at the end of the day. So I don't think Deebo's a bad play compared to him. And like I said, I think Deebo's going to be a very good play this week, moving ahead, especially with no Kittle, Sanders injury issue kind of iffy. I think Deebo Samuel's a better play this week just because he's going to be vaulted up in that pecking order even higher on the Niners. So I would lean towards Deebo. But I wouldn't go. You can't go wrong if you don't make that call. Yeah,
Dr. Raj, how do you like your eggs cooked?
You know what? I like scrambled eggs.
I like all eggs, man. I eat. This is gonna come as a shock to you, but maybe not. I'm a creature of habit a lot of the times. I eat, I would say, on average, about 10 eggs a day.
Oh, maybe. Are you kidding me? I mean, I love eggs, but that's a lot of That's a lot. You're an egg man. Oh,
I'm an egg man.
Oh my god.
I'm an egg, baby.
The incredible
feels good, baby.
Egg. 10 eggs a day?
Feels good, baby. Eggs, baby.
Feels good, baby. That's why you're so yoked like that, though.
I'm
get on that yokey. Egg diet, that protein diet.
Yeah. But yeah,
how do you like your eggs?
Omelet style, over easy. Scrambled, you name it, bake them.
You name it, you just want eggs.
Miss Smitty bakes them in little cupcakes with like peppers, onions, and bacon, and they're like little egg bite cupcake things. Oh, tear into those. Man.
I need to come down.
Yeah, so when I did my 24-hour live stream, I had her bringing me breakfast and stuff. It was nice.
Eggs Benedict, everything.
Ma, the meatloaf, we want it now.
Oh man, 10 eggs.
Yeah, about on average. That's like an average because some days I'll have just 5 or something. Because if I eat eggs, I eat like 5 in one sitting. Like there's no eating 2 or 3 eggs. Like That's
Man, I mean, I guess if you're gonna go all out, you go all out with the eggs.
yeah. But I was drinking like way over 100 ounces of Coke a day,
Oh wow.
and so I've been trying to do my pull up challenge and do my muscle up pull up challenge, and so I cut back about 3,000 calories in Coke a week, and I've dropped about
That's
10
big, man.
I dropped
'Cause
about 10 lbs just doing
if,
that.
I was gonna say, because if you having those cokes, you might see me with diabetes or something soon in my clinic, and that's not good.
Yeah,
Those cokes get you.
can you move yourself into diabetes like that, or typically you have it like
No. That's how you develop it, by those habits. You have the
yeah
bad foods, the sugars,
yeah
and all that stuff, and that elevates your chances of getting
yeah
diabetes.
even if you're not prone to it or something, like even if you have like no, you can just okay.
You
I
can get
mean,
it, yeah.
I've had people that have had diabetes before tell me like you haven't had it yet, man. And
Oh, you can
you're
get it. It don't matter. You can get it down the line.
yeah. Well, good thing is I cut back on it. Is Coke Zero and like Sprite Zero? There's no? Is that as bad for you in terms of
I mean, not as
Pink
bad
King?
because it doesn't have the caffeine, but it still has the sugars in it, and it's at the end of the day, all those
Well,
colas, they all have sugars, and
Coke
the
Zero
sugars,
zero sugar though. So Coke Zero okay?
they say zero sugars, but there's like there's
Yeah,
hidden sugars and hidden fats and all those things in it.
the liars.
Any soda you're having is gonna have a chance of elevating your sugar levels, but not as much, I guess you could say.
All right.
Like a Diet Coke is supposed to be better, but because there's not as much sugar content in it. But I mean, there's still cola, there's still all the other nonsense.
Yeah. Well, I'm cutting back, so that's good. Let's see. Next question was Lemon Pepper wants to know, with Monty questionable, is Sanders a better start? You talk about it. If you talk about, let's answer it for both, so we don't have to ask him to repeat it.
Yeah.
Manuel Sanders or Miles Sanders over Monty, because Lemon Pepper didn't drop the initial Lemon
I would
Pepper
go Miles Sanders.
Miles. Okay. And what if it was Emmanuel Sanders over Monty?
No, because I'm not confident in him playing this week
Yep.
because of that rib injury. And I
Gotcha.
hate to say that.
Gotcha. So we answered both questions for you.
Yeah.
He just put Sanders, so I didn't know which one.
Yeah.
What's up, Smitty and Dr. Raj? Need you? Oh, that's the Robert Woods question.
Oh yeah. Debo, baby.
Drop McLaurin for Hollister. My other tight end is Andrews, but he's really boom or bust. No, I mean you're not benching Andrews, man. So I mean I like Hollister. I'm not saying that Hollister and McLaurin aren't like an even type wash, but I mean your PL you're talking as if you may bench Andrews, which isn't Andrews like 3 or 4 in your league in tight end scoring, I imagine.
Yeah, he's pretty up there. He is boomer bust, but he's booming so far this season. I do like the prospects of adding Hollister to the roster, but I don't know if I want to drop Terry for him, unless I know what the other receivers are looking like on that team. If he's got a solid receiving corpse on his team, maybe I would take him up, because, like I said, I think because he has Wilson as his quarterback, his value is pretty nice right now.
PL says Coke sucks. Drink Mountain Dew Code Red, way healthier. What's Code Red?
Oh, Code Red Mountain Dew. Yeah, right.
Is
There's so
he
much
joking?
caffeine in that. There's so much caffeine in Mountain Dew.
I'm okay with caffeine, but is that like less sugar or something? Code Red, or is he joking?
I think he's joking.
Is he
He's got to
screwing
be
with me?
joking.
PL, you screwing with me?
I think he's joking.
I'm gonna look it up though. I'll look it up. But the Coke Zero, like drinking. So I drink probably like 5 or 6 less Cokes a day.
Mm-hmm.
Less, not. Some people drink like 2 Cokes a day, and they're like, "Oh my god, drink 2 Cokes." I drink double that, but double
That's
5,
crazy.
at least 10.
Man.
So I dropped that. I dropped at 10 lb. So I'm getting there.
I'm telling you, you drop those Cokes, you're gonna be looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger soon, man.
Yeah, I'm hopefully. What is the next question, Dr. Raj?
What's up?
Who would you rather? No, Smitty, just Dr. Raj. Why don't I step out of the room for a minute, Michael,
Tell me.
while you and
Take
Dr.
over.
Raj become besties here. Who would you rather grab, Rodgers or Brady? A guy in my league is shopping both.
Rodgers or Brady?
Let me know if you
I'd
want
go
my
Rodgers.
take. Rodgers?
Yeah, I'd go Aaron Rodgers. I think he has better value overall. I mean, nothing against Brady, but Brady, he's one of those guys where with the Patriots, sometimes their defense will just sit there and dominate, and he can hand off the ball and not really have to do much. And I think Rodgers is the engine on Green Bay that makes him go, and Green Bay's value, they do have a good defense, but their value is really tied to Rodgers. And he can have some games where you're like, oh, man, he'll drop like 3 big touchdowns and, really get that offense going. And if they're down in a game, Rodgers is just going to throw the ball. He's going to throw, get you back in the game. I like Rodgers over fantasy wise.
Anything can happen, but A-Rod's got that 4 or 5 TD capability.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna run away from A-Rod because he's been a little inconsistent. Smitty asked Dr. Raj if he caught the Cap interview on your channel before he hopped on. He did. He saw it.
Yeah, Cap sent it to me on my phone, so I got it.
Zeke, Kamara, and Fournette will rock tomorrow, says Jake. I hope
agree.
you're right on all.
I agree. I think Zeke's
counts.
going crazy tomorrow.
Yeah, I hope Kamara gets going. Yeah, feed Kamara too.
Yeah, that guy too. Yep. I need him too. I have him in one of my leagues.
Hawkinson or Fells, half PPR. Probably. Hawk doesn't have Stafford anymore. Maybe Hawk not having Stafford's good because Stafford hasn't been playing well lately, and maybe they leaned on the tight end now. I don't know.
That's a tough one. I go Fells because without Stafford there, I really don't trust that I don't trust that situation.
How bad Stafford's injury says Ben?
Remember I told you last week that's a bad injury.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to miss a couple weeks. And so far, he may not come back this season. I'm going to tell you. I mean, that's a back fracture. That's the thing. So Jalen Hurd on the 49ers had a stress reaction, and he's been out. They put him on the injured reserve, and he's been out since preseason. This guy, Stafford, had fractures.
Yeah.
That's a very crippling injury for a quarterback. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going to say this right now. I wouldn't be surprised if they shut him down eventually some point of the season. That's a bad injury.
Yeah, no, I've heard some rumblings about him maybe being out for the year now, so I think you could be right on that. Predictions for Mostert this week?
If he plays, because he's questionable, Mostert could have. Man, that's a tough question for me because if he plays, he can have a good. He's the type of guy that can just break off a big touchdown, and you're like, oh man, he brings you that 50-yard home run type touchdown, Or he's the guy that he may not play, or if he plays, he's limited and give you maybe 20 yards. So it's a hard one. I can't really make that projection because we're not sure if he plays tomorrow. If he plays, he has potential to break it off big. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Good take. Kenny Golladay or John Brown non-PPR?
Ooh, I like John Brown based on the matchup. But
Miami's
it's
good.
hard to bench Golladay, but
yeah.
Matt Stafford not there.
If I was ever to play it cute and bench a stud, it's because Stafford, that whole situation. John Brown I like a lot. That's one gamble I'd be willing to take in week 11.
I think this matchup he has this week is he's going to go. I think he's going to have a big week.
Robbie with the super. The ching will eventually be there for you. There it is.
Oh, there it is. I like it.
Tyrell, Golladay, Ridley, Hollywood. Choose 3. Lock Hollywood in for me. Love Hollywood.
Give me Hollywood. Give me my boy Calvin Ridley this week.
Ridley, and then so between Tyrell, Golladay, Ridley, and Hollywood. So you gotta either bench Tyrell or Golladay. I think you bench Tyrell. I think Golladay I would not sit.
Even though we just talked about Golladay having an iffy situation, I still play him in this situation.
Yeah, not iffy in that situation.
Yeah, not in that situation.
Can you explain a broken hip wall?
Oh man! So you talk about Tua, his career's over. I hate to say it. So it's kind of like Bo Jackson. I don't know if the youngins out there know about Bo Jackson, but he broke his hip basically, right? He fractured his hip. But okay, so let me explain this to you guys. So on your hip, you have your hip socket. It goes into the, into the hip bone, goes into the hip socket, and on the back of the hip, on the back, you have this hip wall, and that's kind of where your bottom is, your buttocks, I guess you say. There's your sacrum and then your coccyx. All those bones kind of combine at there. Your hip wall is on the back side, and then there's a groove that kind of comes off of that point, and then that's where your hip bone would connect to on that groove.
So it's like the wall where the socket leans up against?
Yeah. So it's on the back side. and that is where he had damage to it. And so not only did he fracture at that hip where the socket comes into and dislocate
Ouch.
off out of the hip, he broke that back part of the hip. So basically, the side, the back, all those aspects of that hip are kind of all damaged, and it's going to take a lot of rehab to get better. And
Damn.
that's a really crappy injury. As soon as I saw that, I was like, "Oh, it don't look good." And as soon
Let's
as I
play.
saw
Let's
the
play a little
injury
game. Let's play a little game.
Yeah.
Super chat from Robbie says, "Thank you guys. Love the show." Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Robbie.
Love it.
That ching's coming. It's a little delayed today. Okay, little game. Torn ACL or torn Achilles tendon. Which one do you rather have tomorrow morning?
I'd rather have none. But if I had to have an injury between those two, I'd rather have a torn ACL.
Okay. Double torn ACL or broken hip wall.
Double torn ACL. That hip wall is not a good injury.
There you go. That should answer the earlier question about the hip wall to double A.
And the reason I chose ACL over Achilles, your knee is one of those things where if you repair an ACL, I feel more confident coming back and being more explosive. If I tear my Achilles, the whole foot, you got to imagine all that pressure on your foot and your ankle takes more damage, and it takes a lot more to come back from an injury like that, because you're not going to be able to jump, you're not going to be able to get vertical, you're not going to have that speed. Whereas on a knee, yeah, you might be limited in those aspects, but over time, you can get those back faster with nowadays technology and rehab over an Achilles.
Okay. Broken elbow or broken ankle?
Broken elbow.
Okay. Fantasy.football expert, welcome, buddy. Thank you for the super chat. What's good, fellas? You get the cha-ching, my man. Thank you for the super chat. Fantasy.football expert, I don't know if you know who he is on Instagram, Dr. Raj, but he's got like a 70. He's like about the same size as you.
Big boy.
Account on Instagram. He's good people. He's in the Throne League that we have.
Okay, nice dude.
Let's see what else. Expert, throw out a broken. We're playing the game. What would you rather have? This is Dr. Raj. He does
Would you rather?
injuries. Yeah. What would you rather have? And throw out two gruesome injuries. Would you rather get? I got one for you. Kicked in the a-hole or in the nads?
Yeah, to get kicked in the asshole, man. Kicked into the nuts hurts.
Have you ever been kicked directly in the a-hole though?
Yeah.
Like right, it feels like electric shock goes through your body.
My mom did it to me plenty of times when I was kicked growing up. Oh man.
Right dead center. It's
right
like,
square in the middle.
it's like the electric chair. It's like
it hurts, but I took a baseball when I played baseball right in the, it don't hurt. That don't feel good.
Yeah. Let me think of another one. Broken. So Matt Stafford's injury.
Oh. Okay.
Or that broken hip wall.
Matt Stafford's injury all day.
Okay.
10 times over.
Yeah, it's crazy how bad that broken hip wall is then.
Man, I'm telling you that when I saw that, I was just, it was brutal. And when I saw the report, as soon as I read it, I was like, I thought of Bo Jackson, and that was it. That's it. The only good thing about Tua is he's very young. So, I mean, yeah. I'm gonna really hope it's over, man. It's over.
PL torn scrotum or hanging with Fred for 15 minutes. Come on, PL. I'll answer your other question for the super chat. Thank you. Humble brag here. PL wants to know Lamar Jackson or Mahomes this week. Humble brag. He says humble brag.
Humble brag. You know what? Who? So Mahomes is playing Chargers, and Lamar. Who's Lamar playing this week?
Lamar is facing. Again, sometimes I blank out on the top of my head.
I forget sometimes.
Yeah, because I'm doing. Houston Texans and Lamar's at home.
That's gonna be a shootout. That's gonna be a fun game. Honestly,
I just can't bench Mahomes. And
man, Monday night, you're gonna be trailing. Mahomes is to come in and get you a big spot, but honestly, you really can't go wrong either way. They're both gonna get you a big game.
Yeah.
Lamar's playing this is a big game. Houston's a tough matchup, but it's going to be a shootout. Watson and Lamar, it's going to be a fun game to watch. Really, you can't go wrong with
Yeah.
that.
Let me think of one more injury, but Computer Bob has a super chat. Thank you, Computer Bob. 50 character limit, please help. Okay, and then he posted another message. Help play my team this week, Smitty. Play your starters team. Okay. Running backs Monty, Michelle, DJ, and Alexander Madison. And then let's start with the running backs first. Play my team this week. I don't know how many you can choose, but I'm going to give you the order. If Monty's playing, unfortunately, he's your best running back at this point. And DJ, I guess you could maybe play. Is Sonny Michelle healthy?
From what I understand, he is. But you know what, the Patriots, you never know, really.
But is he safer than DJ?
I think so.
Yeah.
That's tough, though. I mean, it's kind of like you really don't know with the Patriots because you can see someone probable and then they don't play a game or they don't get rep. Belichick's so iffy, but I think he is a safer play.
I think that you're probably needing a home run too, though, and maybe that means go DJ and hope. But I don't know, man. I kind of feel like Madison's also like a sneaky safe play because he could get like 40 yards and a touchdown.
If I had to, I'd go Monty. Read all four again. I want to go over it in my head again one more time.
Okay, so I don't know that he's giving us. Computer Bob, did you give us any like starting lineup requirements? Because you didn't tell me how many to pick. So you got at wide receiver, you have Debo, Crowder, Tyreek Hill. Obviously, lock him in. Robert Woods,
Hill, okay.
Lockett on a bye. Tight ends are Ingram, bye. Dwelly, Mahomes, Foles. Mahomes on a bye next week. Man.
That's so Mahomes. I go.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill, of course.
Yep.
I'm gonna go Debo. That's my pick this week. I've been rolling with them all night. I like running backs. I do like Michael, Michelle, and what were the other options?
Yeah, so I'm going to say that Monty, if he's playing, and Michelle are probably your safest running backs.
Yeah, I
consider Madison if there's any worry about Monty or DJ. Maybe go DJ, but Monty and Sony if Monty's playing.
Those are the two I would go.
Debo, Tyreek Hill, and then it's between Woods and Crowder.
Woods.
I might go Crowder, Woods, and Hill myself. I know Dr. Raj will probably go Debo, Woods, and Hill. And then Dwelly's your only tight end because you have Ingram out.
So Dwelly season.
Yeah, so that would be my thought, Bob, Computer Bob. And if you could make a trade, try and trade DJ on a high if he has an even remotely a good game. But I doubt anybody's going to buy him. I don't think you have much to trade either. You could maybe sell high on Lockett and get like a safer or get a safe wide receiver that has potentially as good value and maybe upgrade Monty or something like that. But past that, I don't even know how you could trade. You might just have to hope that Monty goes on a tear, Sonny Michelle goes on a tear, DJ bounces back. Hill and Mahomes are golden, but past that, man, there's some worry there.
Lockett's great, but on the bye, I think honestly my play would be trading Lockett because he can get you something.
Yeah.
And build a little bit on your roster, maybe get another running back out there. I mean, Mahomes and Tyreek are great, but you definitely maybe can use the potential of Lockett to buy you something, or even use the potential of Tyreek Hill to get you a couple of
Yeah, you might have to do a 2-for-1, Computer Bob, to get back in the mix or to feel confident. Mark has 2 super chats. Thank you, Mark. They'll come. Debo or Curtis Samuel?
Ooh.
That's a tough one.
A tough one, honestly. You really can't go wrong either way, but...
You've been going Debo constantly.
Debo all night. I'm going to roll with Debo again, man. I'm just rolling with Debo, but you can't go wrong with Curtis this week.
Should Lockett... I'm going to go with Curtis Samuel myself. But that's so close, man. Flip a coin. Ask me in 10 minutes, and I'll say, "Oh, that's a good one." I go Debo.
And then I'm going to say the other one.
I mean, Mark, it's that close. Mark's other question, though: should Lockett be back next week? What is his status? Let me look.
That's a great question. That's a lower leg injury, and that can very much be a limiting injury. He was lucky that he didn't have serious damage, and he's lucky that they had the bye this week. I definitely think if they would have played this week, he wouldn't have played. Oh wait, they don't have a bye this week, no?
Yeah, they do.
They do, right? Yeah, okay. So if they would have had the bye this week, if they wouldn't have had the bye week, I know he wouldn't have played. But next week, I think it's going to be a 50-50 chance for him to play. Again,
Yeah.
just like with Kittle, you need to see if you got to watch those practice reports on him. If he practices, even if he's limited on Wednesday, it's a good sign. But
It says, Adam Schefter says, the expectation, quote, is Lockett will be ready for Week 12 against the Eagles, following the Seahawks bye in Week 11. For now, that's all we know.
But even with that, if he comes back next week, don't expect him to be a big play, because that injury was he was lucky. He was really lucky he didn't have anything bad happen. He was actually out here in the Bay Area for 2 days after the injury. They kept him back in the hospital. So
Yeah. Brissett's dad, Dr. Raj. Cam Newton's Liz Frank or torn Achilles.
Oh,
If you had to
I'd
pick.
rather have a Liz Frank than an Achilles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both
suck though.
Torn patellar tendon or torn ACL?
Torn patellar tendon.
Because it's on the outside, right?
Yeah.
Integrity of the knee is not affected.
You won't have as much stability on the knee with the ACL compared to a
That's how
patellar.
I know Dr. That was a test. I've never tested Dr. Raj, but that was a test because that was the first thing the guy told me when he did my patellar tendon surgery. I was like, I'm done. Can I ever run again? Like I thought it was the worst ever. My kneecap was in the top part or the lower part of my thigh.
Yeah.
I felt my kneecap. I was trying to push it back in place. My kneecap was literally, here's where your kneecap's supposed to be, right on your knee joint. It was literally like right here.
Yeah.
And I was like, how is this better than an ACL tear? It can't be. And he's like, no, it's I'm going to open up your knee.
A lot better.
Yeah, he's like, I go, did I tear my ACL? He's like, and just like you said when I told you about it, you go, typically when you tear your patellar tendon, it's just your patellar tendon. You don't, it usually snaps, and then he's like, it's all going to be a surgery on the outside. They open up the knee, it's all on the outside of the knee. He's like, you'll be running in 4 or 5, 6 months.
Yeah, it won't take too long. With the ACL, you might have an MCL with it, meniscus.
Because like we talked about before, a lot, and I believe this is correct, right? A lot less likely to tear your ACL, just plain and simple, your ACL, unless you're in soccer, because you're sliding on the ground and somebody lands on your knee, and then your leg is so perfectly pressed against the grass in the field,
and then you get that lateral force.
Tear your ACL in football. Normally, you're tearing You're usually doing this or this. Mm-hmm. So you're usually tearing MCL or LCL.
Yeah. It's usually MCL associated.
So painful. MCL was the most painful out of all of it, and I still feel pain in it.
MCL sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Francisco, I didn't want to do it, but I told everyone in my league how I always know who to start. Just watch Smitty. Thank you, Francisco. That's truly unselfish of you, and I couldn't be more proud at this moment. I'm giving you let's see, what kind of sound can I give him?
Cha-ching.
Yeah, I mean, you could. We could give you a cha-ching. Whoops. I hit a wrong button. I hope I don't have a delay of there. Nope. Let's see. What kind of sound can I give him? How about this?
Tough. What kind of sound you got?
Oh. Only when you're on, Dr. Raj.
I'm telling you, every week there's always technical difficulties, man.
Let's see. I don't know. I'm not getting anything. My whole soundboard crashed. And I hit a bunch of buttons, and I know it's going to just all...
It's going to come back, and it's going to go...
I'm planning on, even though I have a really good laptop here powering everything, I need to get multiple computers to do this streaming.
Yeah.
But that's what the super chats are helping for. Double A just dropped one. Lethal injury, possible lethal situation with the femoral artery.
Ooh.
Tua, is that?
Yeah, that's a very actually. You know what? That's a good point because of where the hip is at. He can definitely have some issues into the femoral artery, and not only that, but he can have some avascular necrosis. Basically, what that means is the blood supply to where the hip is can be shut off, and then causing a death of that hip basically at that point, and that's where the femoral artery would come in. The blood supply is cut off, boom, and then you get what's called avascular necrosis, which would mean a lack of blood supply to that area. So it's a very that's why I don't like that injury. It's not just the fracture, it's not just the break, it's not just that, it's all the blood supply around it. That's a very sensitive area, a lot of blood in that area, a lot of nerves in that area. It's a bad injury.
Yeah. So you do most physical therapists have their doctorate?
Yeah, so nowadays, when I was back in undergrad days, it was just becoming a doctorate kind of profession. But now, pretty much, if you're going to grad school to become a physical therapist, you have to get a doctorate. Back about 20 years ago, it was a master's. Now it's a doctorate, so it's a lot of school.
Yeah, that's cool. When did you get out?
I graduated 2012.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dr. Raj, are you worried about Tyreek Hill re-injuring his clavicle? Now, so I don't know if you saw, but he went down during the game and came off the field.
I was actually very scared when I saw that. I was like,
What,
he's
do we know
fracture.
what happened? Why did he?
I think he just got a stinger or whatnot. Is what they're saying, but he didn't fracture. I mean, obviously, that's going to be the most easily broken bone in the body, and it can be re-aggravated. It's very easy to break that bone, and honestly, the chance of reoccurrence is very high. So I honestly thought it was going to be another. I thought I was going to sit here and see the injury report and say he refractured it.
Yeah,
But
I was about to do an Instagram post on it saying he's done. He broke his collarbone again because the way he went down, he was grabbing it. I'm like, he's done. Yeah. He's done. How do you come away with that?
It's one of those things where I think he just aggravated the area because there's going to be a lot of soreness, soft tissue around it that can get aggravated. But it's definitely an injury that can be re-aggravated very easily because that's a very easily fractured bone in the body.
Francisco Super Chat. I don't know if you're going to get the sound. Hope you do. Just wanted to send a super chat to say thanks. You have me in the playoffs. Much appreciated. Thank you, Francisco. You're the man.
You're the man.
I appreciate you.
What's the views like tonight?
You know, it's weird because I'm getting reports that YouTube's not alerting people that we're live. And that's been happening the last 4 or 5 times I've gone live. So I don't know if they're working on something.
I see.
And so we've been floating around 80 to 100. I don't know why. Even the last live I did, it was at about 100 too, and I don't know what's going on. We keep a steady 100 in it, but
not bad.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's YouTube.
Not 800 though.
I don't know what's going on. The views will be at like 1,000, 1,200 by the morning, but I don't know why people are not. So there's a lot of replays, but some of this content's entertaining and can be replayed and survive. What's funny is one of my most people would say important shows is my Sunday morning show, where I go live an hour before kickoff. But when you think about it, that's the most irrelevant content 1 hour later of anything that I do, because everything has to do. So it's weird because I go live and I'm talking to everybody, and as soon as I hit finish, it's completely irrelevant content. Like unless I do something that. So I'm trying to think of ways to make it, where people would want to rewatch that content. But it's funny because it's such a impacting segment.
Well, because everybody at that moment they need to get their roster set, so they're streaming, they're looking at all the information, whereas they should be looking on tonight. Have the roster set, go to bed very happily. But
then as soon as kickoff happens, everything we said is irrelevant. The matchup, everything, it's gone, it's done, it's played. It's crazy. But I do dynasty content, and my dynasty content I believe is going to help the show make waves this off season. We still need to get more subscribers because I need to get to like 10,000 level to start
pushing.
Yeah, so I'm hoping the dynasty content I do is going to really, really get going. Yeah. So another Dr. Raj, fractured skull or broken hip wall?
Okay, a fractured skull is pretty bad. I still go with the.
There's degrees of that, right? Though.
There's degrees because I can have brain damage or not. I can have. Oh man, I'd probably take the broken hip wall over the fractured skull because the chance of having brain damage and concussions and seizure-like activity is increased. So
let's get this out of the way. Aside from like something like that where you're actually hurting your brain or you're paralyzing yourself, what just flat out similar type of injury, like a broken bone recovery? What's worse than a broken hip wall? Is there anything? Can anybody top that with a?
I don't. You really can't. That's a tough injury, unless you get unless you like paralyzed
Yeah,
or something. Like Ryan Shazier, he had the spinal injury. That
yeah.
was a
But
rough
aside
injury.
from that, there's no broken of any.
I mean, any
Like
broken
tail. What
bone,
if you break your tailbone? What does that even do?
break your tailbone, you can't sit for a couple months. Sucks, but I'd
How do
rather
they
break my
reattach it?
tailbone. I'd rather break my tailbone. It's not a bad injury.
Does it break off completely, or like what's it?
No, you just fracture the end of it, and then you go
And it,
back in, and it'll regenerate just like any other bone. And they can go in and do like a internal fixation where they restabilize the bones together. So that's not a bad injury. I've had a
okay.
lot of patients with the fractured
Do they
tailbone.
call that a
Mostly old ladies
broken
that fall
ass?
down and break their hip and their tailbone.
Do they call that a broken ass in the industry?
Basically, like I'd walk into their room the first day. Hi, I'm Raj. I'm the physical therapist. I'm here to meet you. I've heard that you broke your ass, basically.
That's great. Uh, 2 compound broken femurs is worse than a hip wall.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Computer, or that was Brissette's dad.
That was good.
I was immediately assuming it was Computer Bob. I don't know why.
Good. That was good. That was rough, but it's not. It's close. Broken hip wall. If you get some of that avascular necrosis, if you get some of that circulation stuff going, then that's pretty bad too.
Oh, Computer Bob, you have a super chat here. Dr. Raj, I got, I don't even know how to say this. Avascular,
Avascular necrosis.
yeah, necrosis at 28 from steroids, says Computer Bob.
Did you really?
Is that something you see often, or?
Not very often. That's very rare. What were you taking the steroids for, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, Bob, if you got that information. What is that? What is Avast?
So, like I was saying, the blood supply to your hip, it's controlled by the femoral artery, right? So a lot of times patients will have what's called avascular necrosis of the hip. So the blood supply is not getting there directly. So eventually that area, it basically dies off, and it's very painful. The hip becomes very painful. It can be very stiff, and you have to go inside, remove the hip, get a hip replacement, and then you have to try to reset the blood supply to that area because there was nothing coming in.
Yeah.
So basically, the bone dies. The head of the femur in the hip socket dies, basically. So you're having a dead bone, and it's very painful. So
2K Juan says, sound it out, Smitty. Suck it, 2K.
Avascular necrosis.
Avascular. Computer Bob says Crohn's.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, Crohn's is tough, man. That's bad. I can see. I've had a patient where they were taking steroid injections and whatnot for Crohn's, and it definitely led to some hip problems. And then down the line, they got avascular necrosis. But at 28, it's very unfortunate, very young to have it. Most of the time, patients I've had avascular necrosis are a little bit older, but I've had some younger patients like in their 30s with it, but that's a very rare case.
Okay. Let's see. Thank you, Computer Bob. I appreciate you.
That was a good question. I hate Crohn's disease.
Yeah. Smitty and Doc, I just sent a trade. Sending Lockett and getting Eckler and Amari Cooper. I like
Good
that.
job.
I like that. Because Eckler has standalone flex value. He could get 10 receptions for 100 yards and a touchdown any given week. He's like a receiver. He's basically a receiver.
Yeah.
And Lockett and Cooper are pretty even.
That's a pretty even. And then you added an extra player that can give you good value. That was a good trade.
I like it, Loft. Nice work.
Job. Doctor approved.
Yeah. And Brissett, nice job cracking the broken hip wall problem that we had. He got a double. Yeah. I'm trying to think of another one that I could beat Brissett's dad on. Broken. So, like, if you what's the worst broken leg injury? The femur?
Not necessarily. Femurs. If it was only one femur, I'd still take the hip. I'd still take that over the hip wall.
Why double then?
Double, because then you can't stand up, you can't walk, and
but if they recover well, then
Yeah, but two femurs, it's tough. Just because the risk of bed sores associated with it, because you're not going to be getting up a lot. It's going to be very painful. It's tough because not only that, but then you would still have some blood supply issues as well. You can have blood clots because you're not moving at all. You're not going to be ambulating. You're not going to be standing and walking unless you get weight bearing on those bones. But typically, when you break a bone, you have at least 6 weeks until you're able to weight bear. Typically, not all the time. If you're younger, if you're a male, it might be a different situation. But most of the time, you break that bone, the doctor's not going to allow you to put weight on it for 6 weeks. So imagine you can't stand on either. If you had one leg, it's one thing because you can hop, you can learn how to pivot on that leg. But if you have two broken legs and you can't stand on them for 6 weeks, the risk for your blood clots is high. The risk for infection is high. The risk for pressure sores is high. So it's kind of a bad injury, Whereas if you have the hip wall, you have the other leg that you can kind of get around on and things like that. So, like I said, it was very close. It was close. I still almost would have picked the double femur fracture over the hip wall injury. It was close.
Have you ever torn anything big at all or broke anything?
Broke my ribs, ruptured my spleen, and collapsed my lung.
How'd you
In
do
an
that?
accident a couple years ago. It was a bad accident.
Did you do that playing Colin Kaepernick?
No, I was driving. I had a bad accident, but I'm still here to tell the story. But yeah, it was a rough injury. I mean, the broken ribs were pretty bad. The collapsed lung, I've done that before actually. One time I had bronchitis and it caused it, but
Man.
collapsed lung was tough. They had to stick a chest tube inside me, and then I ruptured my spleen, so I wasn't healing fast because of that. So that was a crap. That was bad. To me, the ribs out of all of that though was the worst. Broken ribs, painful.
Yeah. I want to say like my torn ACL was probably the worst. The torn patellar tendon was bad, but I recovered quickly from it, so it wasn't as bad as I anticipated. But yeah, torn ACL, MCL, all that, it took forever, and that was so painful.
A long time. Yeah.
Dr. Raj, constant shin splints for the rest of your life, or worse than the hip wall? I'd rather have shin splints.
I'd rather have shin splint because you can treat it.
Yeah, come on, Persistence Dad. That's a layup.
You go to PT, you hang out with me all day. It's not the worst thing that can happen.
Yeah. I had shin splints bad when I was younger. I also had I believe
Osgood Schlatter's.
Osgood Slaughter. Yeah, Osgood Slaughter. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, you can say Sergeant Slaughter though.
Yeah, Sergeant Slaughter, and I think that turns into patellar tendonitis, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so then I have that bad. When I tore my ACL, they actually cut a window out of my patellar tendon to do the ACL surgery.
Yeah,
and they cut out of the patellar tendonitis probably portion, so it actually I think helped my patellar tendonitis to have that cut out or something. But
actually, yeah, it kind of worked out in yours.
But do I have ACL-itis now?
Actually, you might have just diagnosed yourself with that new terminology.
My ACL hurts. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, I got. It's
like giving yourself a bad ACL,
Right. Oh man. Well, you're predisposed to. You probably have a higher occurrence of damaging it if you go back and do extraneous things on your knees like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My side-to-side days are over. I'm done playing basketball, competitive basketball.
Yeah, it's tough when you have those things. And for me, the collapsed lung was rough because I was born with a heart problem. Actually, I actually was congenital, had a heart problem. My heart didn't develop correctly, so I don't have a pulmonary artery. It's like a bunch of arterioles that make up the circulation.
Wow.
So when I collapsed my lung, man, they had to hook me up with the chest tube, and it was a whole crazy.
So when you have a pulmonary artery, that goes into the heart?
Mm-hmm. So that's where your lungs come in, and you get the oxygenated blood and whatnot. So my oxygen saturation is always low. So if you know those little pulse oximeters that they put on your finger, they look at your numbers. My numbers are low naturally. Like I run lower than most people in the 80s. That's not a good thing. But my body's compensated. Whenever I used to go to the hospital, they look at it, they start freaking out. Then I'm like, if you look at my medical chart, it's normal.
The reason I ask, I have a family member that had their heart reworked like that, lost half of their heart, and lived another 30, 40. He was old. My grandpa was old. Yeah. And they literally, and I think he was one of the first people to have it done, but he had his heart reworked so where he had literally two of the chambers were dead, and they had to rework it. So did they have, when you were born, did they have to if you didn't have the pulmonary artery, what did they
So
do to?
that's a good question. So it's crazy. Actually, they never did any operation. They let it go because they didn't find out till a month later that I had this heart condition. Like I was born, they thought I had the murmur. Okay, whatever. That'll grow in itself. That can self-correct whatever as you get older. But I was a month old and I had pneumonia. My mom freaked out, takes me to the hospital. They found out more. Oh wow, he has a pretty extensive heart condition. So they didn't do anything. They should have probably at that point because I was a baby, but it was still risky because they could have risked losing me. So then I'm 10 years old. Remember, I'm sitting there in this pediatric cardiologist's office, and they want to do open heart surgery. My mom's like, "He's 10. You guys should have done it when he was younger." So then I got another cardiologist. Never did anything. So I never had an operation. Maybe down the line I will. My pediatric cardiologist when I was younger said it's risky. Technology changes. You've compensated. So my body's just compensated and learned how to adapt with no pulmonary artery. I have like
Wow.
smaller branches. It's absolutely incredible. He used me for a case study one time, but I
That-
played baseball. I learned how to get active. I became a physical therapist. That's pretty strenuous in itself.
Is that why Brissett's dad wanted to know? Is that why you got into physical therapy? And
Yeah, that's why. I mean, I was always in the hospitals. I was always in PT. I learned a lot. I was always wanted to be in the medical field. I wanted to be an MD, but things happened in that situation, and I always wanted to be a PT as my backup. That was my number two, so kind of led me to that. And yeah, just one of those things. I always wanted to help people with those issues, and I
cool.
understand a lot with that my patients are going through, especially those with like heart conditions.
Mhm.
So it was tough because when I was really young, as a boy, you want to play football, you want to play sports. I used to get exhausted, short of breath. I'd have like it's like an asthma attack, but like times 10 because my circulation wasn't going, my oxygen was low. But as I've gotten older, I've learned how to exercise and control it and know my limits. So and going to PT school helped me learn the
doesn't
human
stop
anatomy.
you from breakdancing when your
Doesn't
Niners
help.
win.
Yeah, see, I was a breakdancer in high school, so all these things I learned helped me become a more fit person with the heart problem. So it's tough, but it is what it is. But when I collapsed my lung, oh man, I remember because I have low oxygen to begin with. I remember I couldn't breathe. I thought I was going to die. Oh,
Damn.
it was rough. Yeah, it was bad.
That's interesting, man. Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing that. I'm sure people actually like to hear the
I got life
inspirational
stories for you
story.
guys.
Yeah, apparently, Smitty equals a scuffed Tony Hawk.
Oh, I can kind of see Tony Hawk in you.
I guess it's not the worst thing in the world, but I don't know. All right.
Yeah, it's kind of. I still see George Kittle more so, but I could see Tony Hawk.
Yeah, he looks older now though.
Oh,
I guess
he
that's
looks-
why I paused. I'm like, really?
Yeah, I mean, maybe 20 years ago.
Can you
Tony
say a
Hawk.
young Tony? Even though
No,
we're
I say
probably
young.
we're probably the same age. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's true.
I don't know how old he is. He's probably older than me, actually.
He's got to be.
Doesn't stop you for being Cap, says Hazelnut. Damn straight.
Right.
Sam, hello, Smitty. You are the best. Thank you. Do you guys think James Conner will play next week? I think Dr. Raj is shaking his head no, and I don't want to say I'm hopeful he doesn't because I don't wish injury upon anybody, especially after that conversation.
I don't either. I hate
Now I
it.
feel bad even thinking it. But I hope he rests up a little more and makes sure he's good to go and
I do
Samuels
too.
gets into that lineup longer.
And again, like we talked about earlier, if he plays next week, he's going to be very limited. That's a crappy injury. And again, last week he came back from injury and he re-aggravated that injury. That's an injury that can continue to re-aggravate. So
Yeah.
I honestly don't think he's playing next week. But what do
The Dr. Raj respect has reached God tier. I am glad I never had to deal with anything serious like that. Well, Brissett, we're glad you and your son, Brissett, are doing well.
Yeah, man, it's definitely something that shaped my life, and it was tough. And when I was in high school, we had this in Vegas. They had this children's heart. That's kind of where I went. I used to go to the children's heart center there, and this and that. So I knew everybody. They all loved me there. I'm kind of an outspoken person, so I'd go there and volunteer and help with the younger kids that had heart conditions. So it kind of helped me get into where I was, career-wise. So
Detached retina or detached tongue? I don't know, Joshua.
I'd rather have a detached. Oh God.
Can you read?
A detached tongue. Let me tell you, I had a corneal abrasion one time. I scratched my cornea. Eye pain is the worst pain. I'd rather have a tongue injury, go see a speech therapist, and learn how to talk again.
Can you get your tongue attached again? I
Yeah,
guess
you
you
could
could.
probably get it
Yeah,
attached again. Yeah, but
I
there's
bet.
nerves are going to be missing, and your speech probably will not go that good. But I'd rather go get a speech therapist than detach my cornea, man.
Yeah. Well,
Mm.
all right. Let's play another game here, and then we'll let. Well, I think we'll end the show here. But this will be a couple minutes. So, I'm gonna let's do it quick. Like literally, two
Rapid fire.
sentences, rapid fire, two sentences.
Okay.
I'm gonna say the away team. You say the home team. Just make a prediction about one or two players. Okay.
Okay.
So Falcons at Panthers. I'm gonna say Ridley has 90 and a touchdown, and Brian Hill has 70 rushing, 20 receiving and a touchdown, and Julio has 100 and a score. Panthers.
Panthers. I'm going to say Samuels has 100 and a score, and I'm going to say Allen has 2 touchdowns and 200 yards passing.
Nice.
And hold it. And Run
McCaffrey.
CMC 200. He has 100 yards and a touchdown.
Nice. Cowboys at Lions. So your Lions. Cowboys, I'm going to say Amari Cooper, 90 and a touchdown. Zeke Elliott, 125 and 2.
The only viable option is going to be Galladay, 75 yards, maybe a touchdown. Hawkinson, 30 yards, 40 yards if you're lucky.
Jaguars at Colts, I'm going to say Fournette, 60 and a score. And I will say Chark, 80 and a touchdown. Westbrook, 60 and a touchdown.
And then who am I taking?
Colts. Brissett, your boy.
Oh, Colt. Brissett, start him. 2 touchdowns, 250. And I'm going to say Pascal, 75 yards and touchdown.
Mac?
Marlon Mack, 75 yards and touchdown running.
Okay. Bills at Dolphins. You're going to be Dolphins. Allen's going to have 3 TDs, 1 rushing. Singletary will have 125 total and a touchdown. And John Brown will have 100 and a score.
Oh, man. I don't think anybody's going to be a viable option, but man.
There you go. There you have it.
Yeah, that's it. Don't start any Dolphins.
Texans at the Ravens. You're the Ravens.
Lamar Jackson.
Go ahead.
200 yards, 220 yards passing, 75 yards rushing, 3 combined total touchdowns.
Hollywood Brown.
85 yards and a tutty.
Mark Ingram.
100 yards rushing, maybe a touchdown.
Okay, Deshaun Watson on the other side of the ball is going to have 303 touchdowns. One of them could be rushing. Then I'm going to say Hopkins has 2 touchdowns and 90 yards in this one.
Okay.
Denver at Minnesota. You'll be Minnesota. Denver, I'm going to say Sutton, 70 and a score, and that's all I got to say about that.
Okay, I'm on Minnesota. Stephon Diggs, you take that man and let him get you 110 yards and a touchdown. And then running back, Dalvin Cook, my man's going for 152 touchdowns, 25 yards catching in the air. He's going to be beast mode this week.
Cook it.
I got to go because George Kittle news just broke. I got to break it.
Okay.
He's out. George Kittle is not playing tomorrow. I told you guys.
All right. Later, man.
All right.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Look at that. Dedicated to his craft. I love it. Dedicated to his craft. He's jumping. Let's watch him. Let's watch Dr. Raj do his thing on Instagram. He's going live. You guys want to see an animated man? This is an animated man. The man they call Dr. Raj. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear. I'll continue to play the game myself for 1 second. We're going to cut into Dr. Raj's IG live that he's about to do. I'm refreshing. Let's see. I hope I can plug in. Give me a second here. First of all, let's go see what the news is. Kittle news. I don't know what he might be seeing on Instagram. You guys want to see Dr. Raj live on doing his thing? He gets animated, man. I don't know where the breaking news is. He must have seen it on Twitter or something. But I'm refreshing IG, waiting for him to go live. Let's see. RSF 49ers. If you don't follow him over at make sure you follow him over on Instagram. RSF 49ers. Right there. Dude has 76,000 followers that are just interested in 49er information. Like when we go live with his following, he that's his Instagram handle right there. It's also at the top of the screen. When he goes live on Instagram, he'll have like 300, 400 people in there, and then when I jump on with him to talk fantasy, about 200 jump. They're like, F this isn't the 49ers. And I'll even try and talk fantasy 49ers first, to keep those people engaged. But his audience is so diehard 49ers. Even when we're talking fantasy 49ers, a lot of them are like, I'm coming back when you're talking about the 49ers only. And they'll leave. But we still get like 100, 150 people sometimes in there. R.I.P. David Johnson. Is there news on him right now breaking? Come on, Dr. Raj. We're waiting for you, bro. He's just out tomorrow. Same injuries. Who are you talking about, Mark? Let's hang all night, guys. LO. Smitty is buying. If I wasn't on a diet right now, I'd let you guys talk me into super chatting into a pizza right now. But given it's already 11:45, we probably shouldn't. Let me keep playing the game until Dr. Raj returns. You got a lock for tomorrow? I'll think of one before I leave. Remind me before I leave. Just looking for Dr. Raj. Okay, till he does it. We were at the Jets at Washington. Oh, here we go. Dr. Raj posted this right now. So let's plug in. He's going to probably go live too. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear him. Let's try it though. So Dr. Raj just posted this. 49ers George Kittle is listed as doubtful for tomorrow due to the knee and ankle injury. Will not play against the Cardinals per source. And let's see if he's going live. Maybe he's just going to post it. Maybe he's calling back or something. But if he goes live, we'll go to him and see. Okay. If he gets back on, we'll jump in. Okay, back to the game. Jets at Washington. We're going to go with Jets. I'm going to say Lev Bell, assuming he plays and is healthy, 65, and a score with 15 receiving. Okay game, not amazing. Nothing else of note that I'm going to toss out. I guess... let's see. Hold on one second. Is Raj going? Raj going? Not yet. Okay. Crowder. Yes, I can throw out something for Crowder. Crowder, I'll say 50 in a score. How's that? Redskins, I'm going to go with McLaurin, Scary Terry having 70 and a touchdown. And I'm not going to predict much more for that. I'm only playing the guys I'm told, like almost like my starts. So if I'm not naming your guy, I'm not expecting a huge game out of him. Let's see here. Saints at Bucks. I'm going to go Kamara, 110 total yards. Not sure how I'm going to divide up those. I'll say a touchdown. Drew Brees, 2 scores, and we'll call it 300. And I'll say Mike Thomas, 100 and a score. I'll say Godwin, 80 and a touchdown. Evans, 75 and a touchdown. Winston, 2 TDs there, and we'll say 300 yards. And I'm not going to predict a big game out of Rojo. How do you like that? Cardinals, I'm going to go Murray with 2 total touchdowns, 240 passing, maybe 55 rushing, and 2 INTs. And I'm going to go with the 49ers to have we'll go Coleman with 80 total yards, a touchdown. Let's see if Dr. Raj is live. I imagine he will be. Not yet. We're at Cardinals 49ers. So Coleman, what did I say? Let's give him 70 total, 1 TD. Mostert 40 and a touchdown. Debo 60 and a score. Bengals, Mixon 60 yards rushing. I'll give him 75 total and a strong shot at a touchdown. Jacobs will give 90 rushing and a score, 15, 20 receiving. And I'm going to leave it at that. Tom Brady, 2 TDs, 275. Sanu, 65 and 1. Edelman, if he plays and everything's good to go for Edelman. How's Edelman's health right now? Just want to check something. Julian Edelman, the madcap. Yeah, okay, so he's good. Just wanted to make sure he was golden. Edelman, I'm going to say 80 and a score. Eagles side of the football, Miles Sanders, 55 and a touchdown. It's going to be like one long run, I think, that's going to help him. I'm going to go with not trusting those Eagles this week. I'm going to go against the Patriots, especially. Bears, I'm going to say if Montgomery plays, 65 and a touchdown. I'm not going to get overzealous here, but if he does play, I think he could get that. Cohen, if Cohen's starting, I'll say 75 total yards and a score. Rams side of the ball, if Gurley plays and is healthy, I'll say 40 and a touchdown. Hendy, 40 yards, no touchdown. If for any reason Gurley sits, I say Hendy finally has 50 yards and a score. I got these super chats. I see them right there. Let me just wrap this up. Mahomey, 4 TDs, 350 yards. Tyreek Hill, 100 and a score. Kelsey, 100 and a score. Damian Williams, 60 yards receiving and a touchdown with 40 rushing. So 100 total with that one score. And Mecole Hardman has 70 yards and a touchdown. How do you like them apples? Chargers, I will say Keenan Allen, 70 and a touchdown. Melvin Gordon, 70 total yards and a touchdown. Eckler, 20 yards rushing, 55 receiving, and a TD. And that's all I have to say. Hunter Henry, 65 yards, no TDs. How do you like them apples? So that's my predictions and some of Dr. Raj's for scoring. I think we'll do that every Saturday maybe. And Alex has a super chat. Thank you, Alex. We haven't seen you in a while. Austin, thank you as always for the super chats. Everett is questionable. Should you stream your tight end? You might want to. Depends on who, though. You could toss out some names real quick if you have any, and I can tell you yes or no on those. But I would say that Everett is kind of risky right now, so I would definitely be looking at picking up your streaming tight end. Hollister is available. Great tight end. Cruz, I'm going the Saints versus the Bucks game, where my Saints fans at in the chat. It's going to be lit. Who would you play, Pascal or DJ? Any waiver wire guys over DJ. So I'm assuming you mean David Johnson. Not a big believer in DJ this week. I think Drake's going to be used a little bit more. I would say, man, if I had to say, I'd say Pascal over DJ safer. Name your top free agents, like 10. 10 of your top free agents. Get yourself a pizza. You only live once. I wish I could get a pizza right now, but I'm trying to lose some weight. This computer has an artificial hip. I don't know what that means, but Smitty just predicted 53 touchdowns will be scored this week. Attaboy. He's the man of bold predictions. Thank you. I am. I'm bold. Alex, I'm sorry I didn't answer your question properly. I was also looking at my security monitors because some shady character is driving up in the front yard here. So I was kind of checking that out. Let me re-attack this. I'm going to the Saints and Bucks game. Where are my Saints fans? It'll be in the chat. It's going to be lit. Would you play Pascal over DJ? So the answer is yes for now, but I do need to know the options available on your waiver. So Alex, I'm going to look for it, and I'll definitely let you know what I think. Just watching shady characters in front of my house. So I'm looking for it, Alex. Let's see if Dr. Raj is live. Maybe he was just posting it. I don't think he was going live. Oh, sorry. I answered everything. We're good. Serious, Smitty, with that shoddy team I showed you earlier, is DJ droppable? No, I don't drop DJ yet. I mean, you can't drop him. You've got to hope, if especially in your situation, that you can have some trade value with him later. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely would not cut him. Let's do it. Sony, Michelle, Ballage, or Ty Johnson. Sony. Colin Kaepernick is coming for you, Smitty. Bring it. Get out your pimp cane for protection. Bring it. Don't drop DJ, says Warchild. Warchild is correct. Inflex, Bell or Godwin? I go Godwin, especially if it's PPR. Singletary or B. Hill? Singletary for me. But you're not crazy for going either. Edelman and Lindsey for Adams. I go get Devontae Adams. Do it. I like it, Jeff. Where is DJ in your 2020 rankings? Not in my top 15 right now. Just can't do it. Just can't do it. Where Edelman and I already got that one. You answered it. Asked it 3 times, Jeff. I got you already. And I know there's a delay. Inflex, Bell or Godwin? Godwin. I got that one already too. Ridley or Brian Hill? I go Brian Hill as a safer play. Ridley as a much more risk but bigger home run swing. Higher ceiling. Chow mein or fried rice? I go fried rice. Give me fried rice. Remember, a super chat restarts the music if you want, if you're so inclined to continue the show. But we're at the end. It's tailing down. Smitty, Colin Kaepernick. Kaepernick is in your front yard. That might be who that is. You might be right. Cap might be here. Debo flexworthy. Definitely Debo is flexworthy. We talked about him kind of all night. Not in my top 25, says triple A. We start calling you triple A, double A. Is that okay? All right, I'm out of here. Thank you very much. See you guys tomorrow. The morning show right here, 1 hour before kickoff of the main morning games. Goddard, Gesicki, Howard, Witten. I go, or Goddard. I always call him Goddard. Goddard, Gesicki, or Howard. I probably go Gesicki. Watkins, Boyd, or Parker. I go tomorrow, Watkins, or Monday. DJ is on my short list, says Computer Bob, Ridley or Sutton. Sutton safer. Ridley's got more risk, higher potential to do low, and higher potential to do bigger things. Sutton or Kirk. Kirk's earned it, I think, this week. Coleman or Singletary. I lean Singletary, but that's a coin flip. I have a son named Tyler Boyd. Computer Bob says, peace, says Warchild. Thanks, Smitty, says Double A. Good night, everyone, says 2K. And peace out to all of you. Go get them. This show has been Smitty approved. Thank you, guys.